The era of Beast Girls begins with a pact with an SSS-Level School Beauty. Hey, fanfic family! So glad to see you here again to continue this incredible adventure. As always, kindly remember, this story is 100% fiction. So don't go looking for dimensional portals in your closet. All rights to this fantastic novel belong to the original author. We're just your humble narrators of epic tales. Are you enjoying the fanfic? Show it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and dropping us a like. And if you're impatient for more exclusive content, our Patreon is your happy place. Chapter 426 Empress, Will I Become a Little Fangirl? A bitter smile appeared on Gu Qingcheng's lips, her heart aching. She said, Ziren, don't you even want to see your best friend anymore? Ziren scoffed, do you still consider me your best friend? Gu Qingcheng said firmly, of course. No matter how long we've been separated, 1,000 years or 10,000, the four of us will always be best friends. Ziren rolled her eyes. Since you consider me your best friend, then you have to accept that Xiao Ye is my husband. HMPH, I'll talk to you again when you apologize to Xiao Ye. Gu Qingcheng felt deeply hurt. At this moment, she realized that the man beside her held a far greater place in Ziren's heart than her best friend. But who was she? She was Gu Qingcheng, the Empress of Hangzhou. Apologize to a man? Impossible? Xiao Ye leaned against the door, whistling, his gaze wandering elsewhere, quite relaxed. Gu Qingcheng was a little annoyed and said, quiet down. Xiao Ye shrugged and walked out alone, whistling in the hall. Gu Qingcheng. I didn't mean to chase him away. Seeing Ziren's somewhat dark face, her usually calm heart showed a hint of panic. Ziren said with a dark face, what's wrong with him whistling? Is it bothering you? I think you've been the Empress for too long, and you've become too domineering and too forceful. Gu Qingcheng's face froze, and she opened her mouth but didn't know what to say. At this moment, the voice of the divine soul Gu Qingcheng rang in her mind. My husband was really handsome when he was young, even whistling was so handsome, worthy of being my husband, Gu Qingcheng. Little Gu, hurry up and chase after him, I want to see my husband when he was young. Gu Qingcheng. Good heavens. In the future, she would actually be that man's little fangirl. Could that adoring and coquettish tone really come out of her mouth, Gu Qingcheng? She once again felt her cognition being violently impacted. Old Gu, shut up. Gu Qingcheng said in her spiritual sea. The Empress of Hangzhou, would never speak like that. It's too embarrassing. Your words are my words. I won't allow you to speak in such a coquettish tone. Remember that. The divine soul Gu Qingcheng rolled her eyes and said indifferently, what's embarrassing about it? You'll change in the future and speak like that too. Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched, her thoughts were very complicated. She shook her head to clear away these distracting thoughts. She took out a pure purple token from her bosom and placed it in Ziren's hand, saying, this is the highest level access token for the Secret Realm Hall. You can show this token to whichever secret realm you want to go. Ziren's face lit up with joy. She put the token away, her attitude softened a little, and her tone became gentle. She said, I still maintain that Xiao Ye is my husband. You made him angry, so you must apologize to him. If you still consider me your best friend. After saying that, Ziren brushed past Gu Qingcheng, leaving a fragrant breeze, and came to Xiao Ye's side. She affectionately hugged Xiao Ye's arm, beaming, Xiao Ye, let's enter Secret Realm 25 now to slay creative magical beasts and obtain resources. Gu Qingcheng watched quietly from a short distance away, her expression complex. Gu Qingcheng, seemingly jealous, gave a coquettish snort. That slut Ziren looks like a pure goddess, but her seduction methods are endless. She's got Xiao Ye completely bewitched. Little Gu, you should learn from her, you'll need it later. Gu Qingcheng's face darkened, her lips twitching. She was the Empress of Hangzhou, was she supposed to learn these methods of seducing men? No way. I won't go. Gu Qingcheng, in a huff, sneered, little Gu, you'll regret it. Gu Qingcheng smiled disdainfully. Me, the Empress of Hangzhou, would I regret it? In the hall, Xiao Ye and Ziren went directly to the captain of the order team and showed the purple tokens. This is the Empress's token, take us to special secret realm number 25. The order captain's attitude changed drastically, becoming extremely respectful and solemn. He said, my lords, please follow me. And so, the two followed the order captain directly to the teleportation entrance to secret realm number 25. My lords, you can enter the special secret realm from here. You can stay as long as you want, and you can obtain any resources within the secret realm as you wish. There are no restrictions. Should I send a team of Grand Venerable Realm experts to assist you? Xiran waved her hand. No need, just do what you're supposed to do. After saying that, the two held hands and entered the teleportation array. After the array activated, their figures disappeared. Phew. The Order Captain's forehead was covered in cold sweat, and he took a deep breath. The Grand Venerable Realm crystal core in his arms felt like a hot potato. He wanted to throw it away immediately. Suddenly, he turned his head and was startled, almost scared out of his wits. He knelt on one knee, clasped his hands, and said, "Greetings, Empress." Gu Qingcheng waved her hand. "You may leave." "Yes." The Order Captain left, his legs trembling. If he was caught accepting bribes, he was dead. Gu Qingcheng looked at the empty teleportation array, a bitter feeling rising in her heart. Thinking of Xiran embracing Xiao Ye so intimately, a sour feeling welled up inside her. HMPH. A man actually dares to steal Xiran's place in my heart. I refuse to believe that our sisterly bond, closer than blood relatives, will be crushed by a man. Gu Qingcheng's face was full of complex emotions. At this point, she was jealous of her sisterly bond, but in the future, she would be jealous of Xiao Ye. At that time, she would wish she could be with Xiao Ye every day, competing with Xiran and the other beast girls for the chance to be alone with Xiao Ye. Gu Qingcheng stepped forward, entering the teleportation array and entering the 25th special secret realm. Xiao Ye and Xiran appeared in a hazy, gray world. Looking down from 10,000 meters above, they could vaguely see massive mountain ranges scattered throughout the small world. Both possessed creation-type attributes and could sense creation-type energy. The smallest mountain range has a rich concentration of creation-type energy. Presumably, most of the creation-type magical beasts in this secret realm are gathered there, Xiao Ye concluded. This secret realm also contains magical beasts of the 5 elements, as well as light and dark attributes. Xiran's saintly realm divine sense swept out, imprinting the situation of most of the small world into her mind. That small mountain range probably has over 1,000 creation-type magical beasts. Xiao Ye, we definitely have enough resources. The two traversed the void and arrived at a small mountain range. Why don't we capture them all and keep some in captivity? Looking at the creation-type magical beasts crawling on the ground, flying in the sky, and burrowing in the ground, Xiao Ye pondered for a moment and said, "The resources used by the saintly realm are fragments of rules. A saint realm cultivator with a creation attribute must absorb the power of rules from the crystallized fragments of creation rules." Xiran's beautiful eyes lit up, and she clapped her hands, saying, "Okay." Then, her powerful saint realm aura swept outwards, forcing all the creation-type magical beasts to prostrate themselves on the ground, unable to move. One by one, the magical beasts were captured and imprisoned in an open area in front of them. Before long, 1,262 creation-type magical beasts were huddled together, imprisoned in front of the two of them. Chapter 427 Future Empress, I'll control the body. Xiao Ye clicked his tongue in surprise. So fast? You caught them all in the blink of an eye. Xiran proudly raised her fair swan neck, tilted her head high, and giggled. Yes, how about it, Xiao Ye? Isn't it wonderful to be my husband? Xiao Ye glanced at the created magical beast and Xiran's flat, delicate body, nodded, then shook his head. Xiran? She looked down and saw the back of her foot. Xiran was a little annoyed and snorted, Xiao Ye, you're disgusted with me. She clearly remembered what Yunbing had told her. When Mu Qingsu's figure was poor, Xiao Ye had complained about Mu Qingsu. That was probably what Xiao Ye was trying to say just now. Xiao Ye's hand slipped through Xiran's slender waist, pulling her into his arms. He chuckled, no, why would I dislike you? I've seen your peak figure, and I've seen your lowest point. I've been there for you, sharing your joys and sorrows. Xiran wouldn't listen, her pure and pretty face contorted with anger. No, that look he gave her just now was an insult. He was saying she was flat-chested. No chest, no butt. Not far away, Gu Qingcheng, dressed in a fitted white robe, stood in midair, observing the two. Suddenly, her face lit up with joy, a smile playing on her lips. Xiran's angry. Sure enough, Xiran doesn't love that man that much. In Xiran's heart, our sisterly bond is definitely more important than our marital bond. Her gaze sharpened as she saw Xiran's thigh being touched. Damn it, He got taken advantage of, and Zhu Ran didn't even beat him up. Should I step in and teach that lewd man a lesson? Shen Hun Gu Qingcheng panicked and immediately stopped her, saying, back then, I really was a fool to play the empress. Didn't you realize that it was that slut Zhu Ran who was seducing my husband? Just now, she pretended to be angry, trying to elicit pity from my husband. Look at Zhu Ran's expression now, isn't she blushing, but with a deep sense of joy? Gu Qingcheng stared intently. Sure enough, Zhu Ran was looking down, her pure and pretty face covered in shyness, but the joy in her beautiful eyes couldn't be concealed. Moreover, Zhu Ran herself lifted her purple dress, exposing her long, white, and tender legs to Xiao Ye's view. Oh, Gu Qingcheng was momentarily speechless. It seems, maybe, it really is as you say. At this moment, the divine Gu Qingcheng was somewhat agitated. That slut, no wonder Xiao Ye dotes on her so much, leaving me alone for over 10 years. Turns out she's skilled in seduction. Little Gu, you'd better watch closely and learn this slut's seduction techniques. Your figure is much better than Zhu Ran's right now. If you use these seduction techniques, you'll definitely attract your husband's attention more. If you wait a few months until Zhu Ran's figure recovers, you won't have that advantage. Gu Qingcheng's face darkened, and she angrily said, shut up. The Empress of Hangzhou, would never learn the methods only a simp would use. Gu Qingcheng, would never seduce men. The divine Gu Qingcheng was speechless. I'm doing this for your own good, and for your own good too. You need to change this stubborn mindset and learn to be flexible. Forget it, there's no use talking to you anymore. You'll regret it once your mindset changes. If you won't learn, I'll learn myself. Anyway, every now and then, what I see and hear at this point in time will be transmitted back 100 years later through the treasure. What I learn, you will learn 100 years from now. Gu Qingcheng's face was as black as it could get, and she almost broke down. She didn't learn, but old Gu did. Wasn't this equivalent to her being slapped in the face? Then, Gu Qingcheng said incredulously, 100 years from now, you'll still be alone in an empty room? At this, Gu Qingcheng's divine soul completely exploded. Yes, it's because of you now that my husband has such a bad impression of us, causing me to be alone in an empty room every day, turning into a resentful mad woman. Gu Qingcheng, you deserve to die. Gu Qingcheng. If someone else had called her deserve to die, she would have slapped that person into mincemeat long ago, but the person who called her that, no, a wisp of divine soul, was her future self. Being insulted by herself, she felt extremely speechless. The divine soul Gu Qingcheng said, alright, stop standing there. Go apologize and salvage your sisterly bond. Gu Qingcheng, I won't go. I'm the Empress of Hangzhou. The person who can accept my apology hasn't even been born yet. You all say how outstanding that man next to Zhu Ran is, but I don't see how outstanding he is. That man is just an old lecher, probably only thinking with his lower body. The divine soul Gu Qingcheng was anxious. If you won't go, I will. You're too proud to admit it, let me do it. My soul and yours are one. Release the restrictions, and I'll control the body. Is that okay? She absolutely couldn't let things repeat themselves. She, the future Gu Qingcheng, didn't want to be alone anymore. She wanted to change Xiao Ye's stereotype of her. The time-traveling treasure was something she, in her future self, had obtained at a great cost. Utilizing such a treasure was extremely taxing. She, the future Gu Qingcheng, would spare no effort to make Xiao Ye not dislike her and cherish her. Gu Qingcheng. Gu Qingcheng opened her mouth, hesitated for a moment, and then made a decision, saying, 10 minutes. You can only take control of the body for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I will take back control. We have 3 rules. First, we're only trying to save our sisterly bond, so you're not allowed to get close to that man. Second, you're not allowed to talk nonsense, calling him husband, or you'll ruin my image and make me lose face. Third, you're not allowed to lift your skirt and show your long legs. You can't let that man take advantage of me. The soul Gu Qingcheng was a little speechless. I agree. Now you don't want him to take advantage of you, but later, even if you want him to, he won't even look at you. Gu Qingcheng smiled disdainfully. In short, you can't break these 3 points. Alright, I'll release the soul, and you take control of the body. The soul Gu Qingcheng rubbed her hands together, her pretty face extremely excited, thinking to herself, husband, I, Gu Qingcheng, am back. Meanwhile, Xiao Ye's rough, large hands rubbed against Ziran's delicate, long legs, and he chuckled, "Ziran, pick out 50 old, weak, sick, and disabled magical beasts so I can acquire resources. As for the other creative magical beasts, we'll keep them in captivity." Ziran, itching to be touched, squeezed her legs together, lowered her beautiful eyes, and said, "Okay." She swept her divine sense across the crowd of creative magical beasts in front of her, carefully searching them. She found the old, weak, sick, and disabled beasts one by one, then picked them up and placed them on the open ground behind her. 5 minutes later, 50 old, weak, sick, and disabled creative magical beasts had been selected and placed on the open ground behind her. Ziran said proudly, "Xiao Ye, I've made my choice. This whole thing was my doing, I did all the work, you have to reward me. Reward me properly tonight." A crisp smack rang out as Xiao Ye slapped her long leg hard, leaving a bright red handprint, and said, "No problem. You said it." Ziran was slapped, but her face was all smiles. She was overjoyed. Chapter 428 The Future Empress Apologizes. "Tonight you not only have to reward me, but you also have to help me get back in shape. Getting back in shape is something you promised me before." Ziran seized the opportunity to add a condition. Xiao Ye laughed, Okay, whatever you say, since you're my beast girl." Ziran's pure little face was full of smiles, feeling very happy inside. She leaned over and gave Xiao Ye a kiss, saying, "Thank you, husband." Ziran suddenly felt a resentful gaze staring at her. Turning her head, she saw that, without her noticing, Empress Gu Qingcheng of Hangzhou had come to her side, looking at her with a resentful and angry gaze filled with gritted teeth. "What kind of look is that?" Ziran's lips twitched. "Gu Qingcheng, what brings you here? To apologize to Xiao Ye? That's unlikely." With Gu Qingcheng's arrogance and personality at this moment, it was impossible for her to apologize to Xiao Ye. "What, can't I come? Are you allowed to come here?" At this moment, the one controlling the physical body was the future Gu Qingcheng. Facing Ziran's question, the future Gu Qingcheng responded with a fiery tone. Ziran shrugged, assuming it was her poor attitude that had angered her, hence the tense atmosphere. Future Gu Qingcheng carefully scrutinized the current Ziran. Her purple dress accentuated her tall, slender figure, and her exquisitely beautiful face seemed to embody every man's first love, utterly innocent. HMPH, this slut is too skilled at seducing men. She and the other beast girls have seduced Xiao Ye dozens of times, leaving me alone. Xiao Ye's gaze wandered elsewhere, whistling softly. Future Gu Qingcheng shifted her gaze, and the moment she saw Xiao Ye, it was as if the whole world consisted only of him. A softness appeared in her usually stern and beautiful eyes. She blurted out, "Husband, eh?" Before she could finish, the presente Gu Qingcheng within her body quickly stopped her, communicating in her mind, "Watch your address. We're not even officially engaged yet, why call me husband? Just call me by my name." The future Gu Qingcheng controlling the physical body was momentarily dazed, then responded in her mind, "Okay." Xiao Ye, who was whistling, was stunned. "She called me husband?" He must have misheard. This person's attitude towards him was extremely bad. She probably wished she could kill him. How could she call him husband? Husband means father, how could she call him husband? She must have misheard. The future Gu Qingcheng's expression was complex, her gaze towards Xiao Ye revealing deep longing and a hint of resentment. Having spent over 100 years with Xiao Ye, witnessing his rise to power, seeing his supreme achievements and sweeping across all races, along with other experiences, she had come to love him to the core, and also hate him to the core. This man evoked both love and hate in her. Seeing the situation was turning against her, Ziran stepped in front of Xiao Ye, glaring at Gu Qingcheng with her beautiful eyes, and said irritably, "Qingcheng, what do you want? With me here, you won't be able to hurt Xiao Ye unless you step over my dead body." The future Gu Qingcheng gave a soft snort and said, "I never intended to hurt him, Ziran, you're overthinking it." Ziran immediately relaxed, her gaze softening. Gu Qingcheng was always a woman of her word. Since she said that, she definitely wouldn't hurt Xiao Ye. "So, you've come to apologize to Xiao Ye?" Ziran asked in surprise. The future Gu Qingcheng nodded, her entire aura completely subsiding, the overwhelming pressure vanishing entirely, replaced by a smile on her dignified face. She really came to apologize? Ziran found it unbelievable, so she stepped aside, no longer blocking the path. If Gu Qingcheng could truly put aside her pride, accept Xiao Ye, and get along harmoniously, Ziran would be very happy to see it. She didn't want to lose Gu Qingcheng, her good friend. Ziran pursed her lips and smiled. Go ahead. Future Gu Qingcheng nodded, her voice soft and warm. Thank you. She walked up to Xiao Ye, looking at his tall, handsome figure, took a deep breath, and almost pleaded humbly said, Xiao Ye, I was wrong before. I apologize. I hope you, sir, will forgive me this time. From now on, I will treat you as my best friend's husband, and we will live in harmony. Xiao Ye, can you forgive me? The imposing look on her pretty face vanished instantly, replaced by a nervous, anxious expression and pleading eyes. Xiao Ye? Such words actually came from the mouth of the Empress of Hangzhou. Had the sun risen in the west? His gaze focused on Gu Qingcheng's exquisite face, and when he saw that pleading look, he was stunned. He actually saw nervousness and pleading on the face of the powerful, domineering Empress of Hangzhou. Tense and pleading were actually showing on the face of the Empress of Hangzhou. He was stunned. Seeing that Xiao Ye didn't speak, the future Gu Qingcheng became even more uneasy, a deep sorrow appearing on her pretty face, her hands nervously gripping the hem of her skirt. What if Xiao Ye doesn't forgive me? Will I have to live alone for the next 100 years? Humph, I'm really terrible at this point in time. First impressions are very important, but at this point in time, my first impression on my husband is terrible, terribly terrible. Ahem, since Sister Qingcheng has apologized so sincerely, Xiao Ye, am not the kind of man who holds grudges. Sister Qingcheng is Sister Ziran's good friend, and we may see each other all the time in the future, so it's naturally better to get along harmoniously. After a moment of stunned silence, a smile appeared on Xiao Ye's handsome face, which was sculpted with sharp features, and he said gently. After saying that, he immediately leaned over to Ziran and whispered, Sister Ziran, your good friend's attitude changes so quickly. Your sisterly bond is really strong. Ziran chuckled, of course. We're best friends who can share everything. Then she frowned, but I feel like Qingcheng is acting a bit strange, like a little woman. Her emotions towards you are very off. Beside her, future Gu Qingcheng smiled, her inner unease and anxiety subsiding, her whole body seemingly relaxing, feeling more comfortable than ever before. Good, excellent. As long as she changes Xiao Ye's first impression of her, it will be much easier to make him dislike her less in the future. Then, she won't have to be like a crazy woman, resentfully waiting in her empty room every day, thinking that she might receive Xiao Ye's favor every few days, or even every day. Future Gu Qingcheng's beautiful face beamed with joy, and drool dripped from the corner of her mouth. Old Gu, you bastard, what did you just say? Can't you speak properly? Am I, the Empress of Hangzhou, a mere woman? In her mind, Gu Qingcheng was furious, her temper flaring. Your tone is too humble, like a prisoner begging that man. Old Gu. You are that man's beast mother, but I, Gu Qingcheng, have nothing to do with him now. Watch your tone, watch your expression. What you say and do now represents me, the Empress of Hangzhou. Also, get rid of that simp look on your face, wipe your drool. Drooling over a man, Old Gu, you're truly pathetic. She said without room for argument. In the future, Gu Qingcheng slurped, a little fish sticking out of her mouth to lick her lips, and thought to herself, speechless, little Gu, what are you babbling about? What I just did was for our lifelong happiness. What's wrong with being humble? Don't even mention saying a word. If it weren't for your 3 rules, I'd kneel down and beg him, or even be his maid. Anyway, he's my husband. I, Gu Qingcheng, only have him as my man. I'm willing to do anything for him. In the present, Gu Qingcheng's face darkened, and she almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Me, the Empress of Hangzhou, kneeling down and begging him, becoming his maid? Chapter 429. The Empress's curiosity surges, marking the beginning of her downfall. Me, the Empress of Hangzhou, kneeling down and begging him to be my maid? Impossible. Old Gu, you're utterly unreasonable. Am I going to be ruined in the future? The present Gu Qingcheng asked incredulously in her mind. The future Gu Qingcheng, controlling the body, rolled her eyes and replied in her mind, you're the one who's been ruined. In the past 100 years, he's barely favored me a handful of times. HMPH, it's because of you now that I don't even have the chance to be ruined. Every month, I send him messages explicitly indicating my need for his favor. I even prepared sexy outfits, But he ignores me completely, like I don't see him. Do you know how much pain I'm in? HMPH, all of this is caused by you now. You deserve to die, Gu Qingchen. Luckily, I spent a fortune borrowing a time-traveling treasure from my husband and came to the present, able to subtly change some things now, otherwise I would suffer for the rest of my life. Gu Qingchen. The future her actually wanted to be ruined. The future Gu Qingchen had become a sexually frustrated woman. She was heartbroken at the lack of that man's favor. Her lips twitched, utterly speechless. No, that man looks ordinary, just a bit handsome, nothing special. Why do you like him? Gu Qingchen was completely baffled. The future Gu Qingchen scoffed. Ordinary? The future him has reached the pinnacle, sitting on the supreme throne of the universe, ruling over all races. You actually say he's ordinary? You're truly ignorant. Don't let your status as the Empress of Hangzhou fool you. You're nothing but a frog in a well, an ignorant bumpkin. Not even the future you, the present you, are nothing compared to him. A frog in a well, a bumpkin? Gu Qingchen was utterly speechless. She was the #1 prodigy of the older generation in the Dragon Kingdom, a peerless genius whose talent remains unmatched to this day. And yet, her future self called her a worthless bumpkin? She said somewhat irritably, words are meaningless. Who knows if you're lying? I don't believe you. The future Gu Qingchen said indifferently, you will believe me. Alright, the apology is done. Come back. Gu Qingchen immediately regained control of her physical body, as the wisp of her future soul returned to her spiritual sea. The future Gu Qingchen said discontentedly, I wanted to spend more time with my husband. Why are you in such a hurry? 10 minutes haven't even passed yet. Gu Qingchen responded in her mind, your brain is broken. Unless it's something important, I won't let you control my body anymore, lest you do or say anything outrageous. Apology complete. Ziren has forgiven me. The future Gu Qingchen's face darkened. You just treat me like a tool, huh? Humph, even tools have feelings. Gu Qingchen regained control of her body, her majesty naturally radiating, her aura becoming sharp. Ignoring the words of the soul Gu Qingchen in her mind, she looked at Ziren and Xiao Ye. She was now extremely curious about what was so outstanding about Xiao Ye that he could make her future self so eager to win him over. At this moment, Xiao Ye put his arm around Ziren's shoulder and pointed to the 50 old, weak, and disabled creative magical beasts behind him, saying, kill them all, make sure their bodies are intact. After killing them, I can obtain resources. Ziren grinned and said, okay. With a wave of her hand, a powerful force swept out, splitting into countless energy blades that crushed down. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The old, weak, and disabled creative magical beasts were sliced in half vertically by the sharp energy blades, dying instantly. Ziren asked proudly, Xiao Ye, are you satisfied? Xiao Ye pinched her bottom and laughed, satisfied, very satisfied. Gu Qingchen, standing to the side, looked at Xiao Ye's actions with disdain in her eyes. This man was just a lecherous old man who lived off women and loved to take advantage of others. Outstanding? Where was his excellence? She couldn't see it at all. Ziren giggled, then when you reward me tonight, you'd better do your best and satisfy me. Xiao Ye replied, yes, I'll definitely satisfy you. Ziren was secretly delighted, and her pure and pretty face blossomed with a smile like a flower. Gu Qingchen's lips twitched, and she looked at her best friend Ziren in disbelief. Ziren was actually begging this man to bully her, and to do her best to bully her until she was satisfied. Was this still the Ziren that Gu Qingchen knew? In her mind, the divine soul Gu Qingchen snorted coldly, her tone tinged with sourness. HMPH, this slut, her methods of seducing her husband are truly profound. No wonder my husband likes her so much. Killing a few low-level magical beasts, she can still make demands. Good, is that how you play? I've also learned this method of seeking credit and making demands. Now, I must learn more methods of seducing my husband. Hearing the jealous words of the divine soul Gu Qingchen's lips twitched. No, you're really going to learn that? You really want to use this kind of simple tactic? Gu Qingchen thought to herself, speechless. Her soul, Gu Qingchen, replied matter-of-factly, of course. Why would I learn it if I didn't want to? Exactly, I just hope my husband won't be so cold. I hope that using this seduction tactic will get him to pay attention to me, otherwise I can't even use it. Gu Qingchen. Her future self had really been strung along like a peacock. Even using such shameful methods, she had to worry about whether the man would even acknowledge her. What a tragedy. She, the Empress of Hangzhou, had become such a lowly woman. Xiao Ye patted Ziran's flat bottom and said, "Now it's my turn." Ziran nodded obediently. "Okay." Gu Qingchang's expression turned serious, her gaze fixed on Xiao Ye. This man was finally going to make his move. Alright, then let me see what's so special about the man who's made her future self so sullen. Xiao Ye looked at the 50 creative magical beasts split in two and waved his hand. Activate template adjuster, extract rule fragment crystal function, extract rule fragment crystal selection, creation type, boom. A supreme power descended, covering each of the recently deceased magical beasts. These magical beasts, as if suffering a great terror, convulsed. Half a second later, each of them was filled with a decaying aura, their bodies became dilapidated, and then turned into specks of light, dissipating into the air. Grandmaster Realm Creation Type Magical Beast, 30 Creation Type Rule Fragment Crystals successfully extracted. Grandmaster Realm Magical Beast, 40 Creation Type Rule Fragment Crystals successfully extracted, already placed in storage space. Xiao Ye clapped his hands and laughed. All done. Ziran leaned over and kissed him on the cheek, saying, "Xiao Ye, you're awesome." Gu Qingcheng? Several question marks appeared above her head. What happened? She didn't sense any power. Nor did she see what talent skill this man used. She only saw this man wave his hand, and the bodies of those magical beasts became destroyed, then turned into dust. Gu Qingcheng was startled. Could it be that this man who had made her future self look like she had a perky mouth was actually more outstanding than her? So outstanding that even she, a powerful being at the peak of the Saint Realm, couldn't figure out what he had done? At this moment, a strong curiosity about Xiao Ye welled up in Gu Qingcheng's heart. Chapter 430 Empress, I'm actually not as good as him. The main problem was that her future self had exaggerated the man's abilities to an extreme degree, making even her present self seem insignificant in comparison. As a powerful being at the peak of the Saint Realm, she could rival an old monster at the peak of the Quasi-Emperor Realm using her unique talent skills. Her future self should be well aware of this. Yet, even so, she still claimed that her present self was inferior to this man. In Gu Qingcheng's mind, Xiao Ye seemed to wear a mysterious veil, becoming enigmatic and sophisticated. Like a stunning beauty draped in sheer fabric, it made one want to unveil her alluring true self. In her mind, her future Gu Qingcheng saw her looking shocked, hands on her hips, laughing smugly, proudly boasting, "Ha, how about that? You can't detect my husband's methods, can you? Even if you had 10 more years, you still wouldn't be able to discern the immense power that is." Gu Qingcheng's shocked expression vanished, her lips twitching. Damn it, are you showing off? Give me back my husband. Her future self was actually proudly flaunting a man in front of her. Was this still Gu Qingcheng? Shut up, you woman who's been swayed by a man. Don't ever call yourself Gu Qingcheng again, you're disgracing me. The future Gu Qingcheng didn't care, scoffing disdainfully, a frog in a well, a bumpkin. Gu Qingcheng. She was being mocked by her future self again. She was, after all, the Empress of Hangzhou, yet even her future self looked down on her. What a disgrace. HMPH, this person must have used a quasi-saint level treasure, a very subtle and insidious treasure, not his own ability. Gu Qingcheng snorted coldly. She didn't sense any offensive power or anything particularly outstanding about the seemingly harmless man beside her. Beside him, Ziran leaned closer to Xiao Ye and whispered, "Are the resources upgraded?" Xiao Ye nodded, "The creation type attributes are done. You still need the devouring type attributes. Do you have 50? Ziran shook her head. "After I upgraded to the Saint Realm, I've been with you the whole time. I haven't had time to work on any of them. Your abilities are so powerful, please help me. I'll go to the chaotic space to get them, but that'll take a month or two." She clung to Xiao Ye's arm, pouting sweetly. Xiao Ye felt his bones melt and quickly replied, "Okay, as my beast girl, I'll naturally help you. However, I have one condition." Ziran's beautiful eyes lit up. "What condition?" Xiao Ye leaned close to her delicate ear, blew a breath, and whispered, "When I reward you tonight, call me daddy." Ziran's pretty face froze, and her gaze towards Xiao Ye became strange. She moved her lips as if she wanted to say something. Although the two were speaking quietly, Gu Qingcheng, a powerful Saint Realm expert, heard everything clearly. Reward you, satisfy you, she understood all these keywords and knew what they meant. Xiran would never agree to him. How could she possibly say such a shameful term, she muttered in her mind. But turning her head, Xiran nodded, her pretty face flushed. No problem, as long as you like it, Xiao Ye, Xiran can call you whatever you want. Xiao Ye laughed. He was wide awake now, his eyes sparkling, and he seemed much more energetic. He chuckled, Sister Xiran, don't be so agreeable, or I'll get carried away. This time I'll let you call me Dad, next time who knows what even more perverted term you'll use. Xiran's face lit up with excitement. She retorted. You have even better ways to play? Don't hold back, bring them all out. You know, we have a common hobby, watching adult films. Ah. Xiao Ye suddenly realized. Right, Xiran had watched so many adult films, of course she wasn't against what he just said, no, not just not against it, she actually liked it. Oh no. The things going on in Xiran's little head are probably even more perverted than he imagined. Gu Qingcheng turned her face away, her beautiful and dignified face now burning red, tinged with a blush. She had been corrupted by Xiran when they were little, developing a liking for watching adult films. This strange fetish had remained to this day. Wait, that's not what I'm focusing on. Xiran actually agreed to his request. Goodness, is this man really that charming? Xiran was completely smitten by him, agreeing to everything he said. In her mind, Gu Qingcheng's sarcastic voice rang out, like eating a lemon, so sour it made her teeth ache. HMPH, this slut, her methods for seducing her husband are really something. It's just adult films, I've watched just as many as she has, and my skills are no less than hers. But my husband just hates me, doesn't want to talk to me, and leaves me alone every day. Gu Qingcheng's ears burned. Not to mention her future self, even her present self has watched just as many adult films as Xiran, and knows just as many ways to play. She gritted her teeth and said in her mind, you insatiable, resentful woman, shut up. Even if I'm good at playing too, I would never use, nor would I stoop to, those shameful ways of pleasing men. Hell, I am the Empress of Hangzhou, I am Gu Qingcheng. The divine soul Gu Qingcheng said speechlessly, you've already witnessed his excellence, and you still think so highly of yourself. Xiran just said it was her husband's ability. I understand if you don't believe me, but you don't even believe Xiran's words anymore? Gu Qingcheng's pretty face froze, and she fell silent. The methods that man used just now, were they really not from a treasure, but his own ability? After Xiran and Xiao Ye whispered for a while, they finally noticed that there was an Empress of Hangzhou standing next to them. Xiran said somewhat awkwardly, why are you still here? Xiao Ye whistled, his gaze wandering elsewhere. Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched. Had she become a third wheel? She said speechlessly, can't I be here? Xiran nodded, yes, just don't eavesdrop when we're whispering. Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched again, do you think I'm the kind of person who likes to eavesdrop? Xiran laughed, her embarrassment instantly disappearing. Yes, with the Empress of Hangzhou's personality, there was no way she would eavesdrop on their embarrassing conversation. We want to go and kill some devouring-type magical beasts. Qingcheng, do you know which secret realm has them? Xiran asked. Gu Qingcheng thought for a moment and said, devouring type, they exist in special secret realm number 23. Xiran's expression brightened, Xiao Ye, then let's go to special secret realm number 23. Xiao Ye nodded, okay. He looked at Gu Qingcheng, a strange look on his face. At this moment, Gu Qingcheng's aura was extremely sharp, like a completely different person from the amiable Gu Qingcheng who had apologized earlier. It was as if the Gu Qingcheng from before was an approachable, friendly older sister, while this Gu Qingcheng was the domineering and powerful Empress of Hangzhou. Gu Qingcheng suddenly pulled Xiran aside, glanced at Xiao Ye, and privately transmitted her voice, Xiran, what's your husband's cultivation level? What's his Beast Tamer talent level? Xiran frowned, thought for a moment, and decided that since Gu Qingcheng was her good friend, revealing some information wouldn't be a big deal. So she smiled and said, him? He's a second-level Grand Venerable. As for his Beast Tamer talent, it's a little bit better than yours, a few hundred times better, above SSS level, a mythical level talent. By the way, he's only 18 years old now, and has been cultivating for less than a year. Don't think that just because his cultivation level is low now, he'll surpass us soon. An 18-year-old Grand Venerable, Mythical level Beast Tamer talent? Gu Qingchang's eyes widened, her pretty face blank, completely stunned. Ziran would never lie to her, which meant that this man was truly exceptional. I, the Empress of Hangzhou, am actually inferior to him. Chapter 431 Empress, this man is barely worthy of my best friend. Mythical templates and talents, these were templates existing only in legends, never before seen in history. Favored by heaven and earth, cherished by the laws of nature. A template and talent destined to reach the pinnacle of destiny. But those were just legends, who would have thought they'd actually appear in the world? Gu Qingchang was stunned. Seeing the dazed Empress of Hangzhou, Ziran, fearing this might damage her confidence, patted her shoulder and said, although you're a little less capable than my husband, don't underestimate yourself. You're still very powerful. With your talent, your SSS level top tier aptitude, you'll definitely be at the top of Blue Star in the future. Gu Qingchang opened her mouth, speechless. Just a little less? That's a tiny bit more. She looked at Xiao Ye, her gaze filled with astonishment, finding it utterly unbelievable that this man's talent was so incredible. Gu Qingchang couldn't help but ask in her mind, old Gu, is he really a mythical level template? It wasn't that she didn't trust Ziran, but a mythical level template was too unbelievable. Such a template was an ethereal existence, truly too illusory. Anyone would question something that challenged their understanding. Seeing Gu Qingchang's surprise, the divine soul Gu Qingchang proudly said, of course. That's my husband of Gu Qingchang. A mythical level template is nothing to him. He, Gu Qingchang, now you know how amazing my husband is. So don't think you're the best in the world, invincible in the universe. You're nothing compared to him. Gu Qingchang's lips twitched. You're getting all proud of yourself? You can be proud if you want, but you have to look down on me too. Hey, you're also Gu Qingchang, you are me. If you look down on me, you're looking down on yourself. The divine soul Gu Qingchang didn't take it to heart and laughed. No, I'm different from you. My talent is hundreds of times better than yours. Gu Qingchang's eyes widened, a surge of joy welling up inside her. Will her aptitude be hundreds of times better in the future? Gu Qingchang quickly asked, old Gu, you must have a way to improve your aptitude, right? Tell me, where can I get resources? The divine soul Gu Qingchang sneered and said, you're not worthy yet. Gu Qingchang. Her face darkened, her pink fists clenched, and she had an urge to punch someone. I hope it's true, as you say, that you have enough ability to lead my 3 best friends to the top. Gu Qingchang regained her composure and focused her attention on the outside world. She stared blankly at Xiao Ye for several seconds. This man is barely worthy of my best friends. Barely qualified to be my best friend's husband. But to say he's completely qualified, he's not. Her 3 best friends have entrusted their lives to this man. Not just one, not just Ziran. Xiao Ye felt uneasy under the intense gaze of the imposing Empress of Hangzhou. Her expression was too serious, radiating a sharp aura, as if she were staring at him like a criminal. Although he had accepted the Empress of Hangzhou's apology and didn't intend to oppose her or create conflict, his impression of her remained very poor. Xiao Ye still disliked this woman. He frowned, looked away, walked to Ziran's side, and took out a bronze palace at the quasi-emperor level. He activated the bronze palace's biological capture function. A small, exquisite bronze palace floated up from his palm, emanating a vast and awe-inspiring aura, projecting 2 beams of light, one red and one green. These beams shone upon the huddled group of creative magical beasts. The approximately 1,400 beasts were immediately released from their world-binding constraints and captured within the bronze palace. Ziran had witnessed this scene many times before, remaining completely unmoved. But Gu Qingchang was different. The moment she saw the bronze palace, her recently calmed heart was stirred once more. A deep look of surprise appeared on her beautiful, serious face. She recognized the bronze palace. It was an emperor-level treasure. Even she had never possessed a treasure of this caliber. How could someone like Xiao Ye, a grand venerable, possess it? Gu Qingchang glanced at Ziran and immediately understood, a hint of helplessness rising in her heart. It was likely that her good friend Ziran, who had been seduced and manipulated, had used some method in Jinling City to obtain the emperor-level bronze palace and then given it to this man. It's probably a token of love. Regardless of how glorious his future may be, putting aside the facts, at his current great venerable level, he's just a gigolo. Meanwhile, after putting away the magical beasts, Xiao Ye put away the bronze palace, patted it, and said, "Okay, let's go to the next secret realm to obtain devouring resources." Ziran skillfully took Xiao Ye's arm, pressed herself against it, and giggled, "Okay. Qingcheng, are you coming along?" Gu Qingcheng wanted to observe Xiao Ye further to see if he was as outstanding in every way as old Gu said, capable of being the husband of her three best friends, so she said, "Let's go." The three returned to the secret realm's main hall, through the teleportation portal, and saw a heavily guarded scene. Squads of steel-armored soldiers exuding a murderous aura stood before the special secret realm's teleportation array. A banner hung outside, "Special secret realm closed from the 20th to the 30th today." Xiao Ye frowned. Closed? He still needs to acquire devouring rule fragment crystals to upgrade Ziran's mythical template. Ziran's upgrade resources are 50 creation rule fragment crystals, 50 creation rule fragment crystals, 50 devouring rule fragment crystals, and 200 supreme crystal cores. Currently, he possesses creation and creation rule fragment crystals, but lacks devouring rule fragment crystals and 200 supreme crystal cores. Ziran leaned closer to Gu Qingcheng and whispered in her delicate ear, "What are they doing?" Gu Qingcheng shook her head, then pointed to a squad leader, radiating an aura of authority, and said in a natural, superior tone, "You, come here. The secret realm's main hall is open to the residents and soldiers of Hangzhou. What are you all doing surrounding it?" The armored squad leader knelt on one knee with a thud, his expression solemn, and said, "The Empress is traveling, so we naturally must clear the way to avoid disturbing her enjoyment." Gu Qingcheng nodded, "Then you can continue surrounding it." Having received the Empress's approval, the armored soldier was very excited and said, "Yes." Xiao Ye and Ziran stared in disbelief. This was the treatment the Empress of Hangzhou received? Amazing. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. Could he also predict the future? The Iron Commander returned to the special secret realm's teleportation portal and said to the dozens of soldiers, "Keep your eyes peeled, don't let a single fly in." "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." The soldiers had also heard the Empress's conversation with the commander. Their actions had earned the Empress's approval and satisfaction. Their spirits lifted considerably, a fervent fervor rose within them, and their eyes sharpened, as if they had received a lifelong mission, intently watching every inch of the outside world. Gu Qingcheng turned back, her oppressive aura dissipating, and smiled. "Ziran, Xiao Ye, shall we continue to Secret Realm 20? Ziran replied, "Yes, Secret Realm 20, devouring monsters." Then, the teleportation array flashed, and the three figures vanished. Special Secret Realm 20. This small world was bathed in clear skies, without a single cloud, with mountain ranges and large lakes scattered throughout. The three stood 10,000 meters above the ground, taking in the scene of this secret realm. Xiao Ye suddenly felt a throbbing in his temples, a sense of crisis rising within him. He frowned, sensing something was amiss. The time-related talent skill, predicting the future, automatically activated. Profound energy emanated, and images flashed through his mind. All the Supreme Realm magical beasts rose up, besieging the Hangzhou soldiers already undergoing trials in this secret realm. A dragon-shaped magical beast with a single horn on its head seized the heart of the secret realm in a special space. The heart of the secret realm was crushed and annihilated, the secret realm collapsed, the small world disintegrated, and all the mountains, lakes, magical beasts, and soldiers within this small world were annihilated by the spatial turbulence as the world collapsed. After reading the foreseen images, Xiao Ye's expression darkened. The collapse of the small world would perish all creatures within it, including the devouring magical beasts. If he allowed things to continue like this, his trip would be in vain. Immediately, he wanted to inform the Hangzhou Empress of this information. Gu Qingcheng and Ziran suddenly narrowed their eyes, exchanged a glance, and exclaimed in unison, "Something's happened." In their divine senses, the Venerable Realm and Great Venerable Realm soldiers training in this small world were being crushed and slaughtered by Supreme Realm demonic beasts. With a whoosh, the Empress of Hangzhou vanished on the spot. Ziran, holding Xiao Ye's arm, said gravely, "Xiao Ye, the demonic beasts in this small world have rioted. The Hangzhou soldiers are being slaughtered." Let's go help. Before Xiao Ye could even voice his opinion, he was pulled along, quickly traversing the void to arrive above a mountain range. Over 1,000 Hangzhou soldiers were surrounded within the mountain range, with more than 10 Supreme Realm demonic beasts mockingly blocking their way from all sides. The teleportation portal won't open. We can't get out. Damn it, we can't send out information. We're doomed. So be it. We'll die standing. Faced with this desperate situation, not a single soldier showed any fear. The captain, his face resolute, shouted, "Soldiers, we're surrounded. Even if we die, we'll make them pay a heavy price. All hands on deck. Prepare for battle. Attack that serpentine demonic beast ahead. Charge." As soon as he finished speaking, over 1,000 soldiers charged forward, shouting, "Kill! Kill! Kill!" The serpentine demonic beast, a supreme realm creature, scoffed. Trash. Its 100-meter-long tail, covered in gray scales, swept out with unparalleled force, striking at the charging soldiers. If it hit, every soldier would die instantly, seeking death. At that moment, a domineering, icy female voice resounded in the ears of all the soldiers and demonic beasts. "It's the Empress. The Empress has come to save us. Ha ha ha, everyone charge. To fight alongside the Empress, even death is worthwhile." The soldiers' charge didn't slow down, their morale soared, and they charged forward with fanatical expressions. Boom. Upon hearing the domineering female voice, all the supreme magical beasts felt as if thunder had exploded in their ears, making their heads buzz and their minds dazed. HMPH. Another piece of trash. Larger ants are still ants. Leave this one to me. The serpentine magical beast soared into the sky, charging towards the white-robed figure high above. Gu Qingchang gently reached out and grabbed at the void. Ugh! The soaring serpentine magical beast was instantly imprisoned, its body frozen in mid-air, as if gripped tightly by a terrifying being, unable to move. Gu Qingchang's gaze was indifferent, and she clenched her fist. Boom! An explosion resounded through the sky, and the serpentine exploded like a blood-red firework, endless blood splattering onto the earth. Empress is mighty. Empress is mighty. Empress is so cool. The soldiers' expressions were fanatical, their eyes filled with utmost reverence as they looked at Gu Qingchang standing high in the sky. Why did they join the army? It was out of reverence for the Empress, a desire to fight alongside her, to slay demonic beasts, and to expand the territory of the base city. In Hangzhou Base City, almost everyone except the elderly, weak, and disabled was a soldier. In their eyes, the Empress was a myth, supreme, a female war goddess in everyone's hearts. Joining the army was their dream, the only ideal path in their hearts. Saint Realm. This is a Saint Realm expert. Run. Everyone, run. Seeing the serpent crushed, the remaining 12 Supreme Realm demonic beasts showed expressions of terror. They all used their fastest speed to flee in all directions. Gu Qingchang remained expressionless, waving her hand and unleashing 12 beams of energy that struck the fleeing 12 Supreme Realm demonic beasts with lightning speed. Bang! 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 A series of explosions rang out. The 12 Supreme Realm demonic beasts, struck by the Saint Realm energy, had their bodies and souls utterly destroyed, exploding into oblivion. A Saint Realm expert wouldn't even need to use their innate skills to defeat a Supreme Realm expert, ordinary energy would be enough to crush them. After killing the Supreme Realm magical beast, Gu Qingchang approached Ziran with a smile, saying, "Just a few magical beast riots, it's happened before. The devouring magical beasts are on another mountain range. Let's go." Ziran nodded, "Okay." Xiao Ye asked, "Empress of Hangzhou, do you think this is the end of it?" Huh? Gu Qingchang was taken aback. This was the first time this man had spoken to her proactively. "That's right, magical beast riots happen from time to time, it's a normal phenomenon," she nodded. Ziran's heart skipped a beat. "Xiao Ye, is something more dangerous going to happen?" Knowing Xiao Ye as she did, she knew he wouldn't say such things for no reason. Gu Qingchang frowned. Was this man overthinking things? Even she, a Saint Realm expert, hadn't sensed any danger. What could a venerable realm expert like him possibly detect? Xiao Ye's expression turned grave. A Western dragon-shaped magical beast with a single horn on its head is stealing the core of this secret realm. It wants to destroy the core, causing the secret realm to collapse and destroying this small world. We need to hurry, or we might not have enough time. Gu Qingchang's pupils constricted. A dragon-shaped magical beast with a single horn? Yesterday, she had just killed a saint-level dragon-shaped magical beast king. Ziran said urgently, the core of the secret realm cannot be destroyed, otherwise all the magical beasts inside will die. King Cheng, Xiao Ye possesses a time-related attribute and can foresee the future. He won't lie. We need to hurry to the core space of the secret realm. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. This man not only had a mythical level template but also an extremely mysterious time-related attribute? Chapter 433 Gu Qingcheng's attitude changes. Space is king, time is emperor. The time attribute is incredibly useful. It's far more practical than her destiny attribute. Gu Qingcheng's understanding of Xiao Ye deepened a bit. The divine soul Gu Qingcheng grumbled, "Little Gu, now you know how powerful my husband is, right? The time-traveling treasure I used to return was found by my husband, including that bronze palace, which he obtained alone in the Jinling City clan territory. My husband is not only incredibly capable, but he also possesses many treasures. He can easily dazzle you, you bumpkin." Gu Qingcheng exploded, "If you call me a bumpkin again, I'll drag you out and beat you up." The divine soul Gu Qingcheng scoffed, "I'm hiding inside a treasure. Can you even find me? You overestimate yourself. Don't just stay in Hangzhou base city, go out and see the world." Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched, she really couldn't find him. She was silent for a moment. "You mean the bronze palace was also acquired by that man? Wasn't it a love token that Ziran gave him?" The divine soul Gu Qingcheng laughed, disdainfully saying, "You think too highly of that slut Ziran." Gu Qingcheng could sense old Gu's resentment and said helplessly, "I know." She guessed old Gu had been lonely for too long, unable to get close to Xiao Ye, and thus had become a resentful woman. Speaking of which, the bronze palace was actually acquired by that man. Gu Qingcheng was extremely surprised. This man, was he really that capable? A great venerable realm cultivator acquiring an emperor-level treasure? Was this just bragging? It was too fantastical. But old Gu had no reason to lie to her about this, which meant that the emperor-level treasure really was acquired by that man himself. A mythical realm cultivator, a time attribute cultivator, and capable of acquiring a top-tier treasure. Even novels didn't write it this outrageously. There was probably only one man like this in the world. He seems really quite outstanding, Gu Qingcheng thought to herself. Ha ha ha. The spirit Gu Qingcheng, hands on her hips, threw her head back and laughed wildly, her translucent face radiating pride. She boasted smugly, "You finally admit my husband is outstanding. Much more outstanding than you, you bumpkin. Let me give you a piece of advice, while this man is right next to you, hurry up and make your move, win him over. Otherwise, you won't have as many opportunities later." Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. "He may be outstanding, but what does that have to do with me? I just want to observe him for my sisters, to see if he's capable of making my 3 best friends entrust their lives to him." The spirit Gu Qingcheng grumbled, "You're worthy of his entrusting his life to you too." Gu Qingcheng snapped out of her reverie, not wanting to listen to old Gu anymore. What future version of herself would urge her to find a man? She'd probably be the only one in the world doing that. Outside, high in the sky. Seeing that Gu Qingcheng didn't seem to believe him, Xiao Ye said, "Sister Qingcheng, could you check this out and see if the magical beasts in this secret realm have broken free of the world's restrictions and blockade? With just a teleportation portal, they could escape to the outside world at any time." Suddenly, his expression froze. Gu Qingcheng's gaze seemed to soften, less sharp and oppressive. Was it just his imagination? Xiao Ye rubbed his eyes. Gu Qingcheng nodded, "I'll check." She flashed out and randomly selected a great venerable realm magical beast that was defecating. She used her divine sense to check the restrictions on its body. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. Just as the man had said, the world restrictions on the magical beast had been lifted. She then traversed the void, reaching a distance of 100,000 meters, and selected some magical beasts on the other side of the small world to check. The results showed that the world restrictions on those magical beasts had all been lifted. She was deeply shocked. Not by who had the means to lift restrictions, but by Xiao Ye's powerful reasoning ability, able to deduce these things from minute details. This was something even the Empress of Hangzhou hadn't predicted. She, the Empress of Hangzhou, was actually inferior to that man. Crossing the void to return to Xiao Ye and Ziran's side, Gu Qingcheng stared blankly at Xiao Ye, her powerful aura completely vanished, and her gaze softened. Xiao Ye felt very uncomfortable being looked at like this, being stared at by the Empress of Hangzhou. He touched his handsome face and awkwardly asked, "Sister Qingcheng, is there something on my face?" Gu Qingcheng withdrew her gaze, her pretty face flushing, and looked away, saying, "No. Those magical beasts are indeed as you said, their world restrictions have been lifted, and they could escape to the outside world at any time through the teleportation portal." "How did you deduce that?" Xiao Ye scratched his head. "Intuition, yes, that's it." Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched. "Fine, don't tell me then, but don't call it intuition." Ziran, seeing her good friend Gu Qingcheng's changed attitude, felt a vague sense of unease. It felt strangely familiar. Yes, just like her disciple, Bai Mao. However, this is the Empress of Hangzhou now. Impossible, she could never be interested in Xiao Ye. Ziran shook her head, thinking she was overthinking it. Gu Qingcheng's face lit up with a smile. Ha, little Gu is finally willing to listen to others' opinions, otherwise she wouldn't have gone to check on those magical beasts. Good, excellent. I'll be your wingman for a while longer, then I can go back to enjoy life. Hey, I've wanted to touch my husband's 8-pack abs for a long time. If I could cuddle with my husband every day, that would be so blissful. As she spoke, tears of emotion streamed from the corners of her mouth. With a slurp, she was overjoyed, extremely excited. Xiao Ye slapped Ziran's head and said urgently, "Sister Ziran, Sister Qingcheng, that unicorn-shaped magical beast is probably about to make its move, we don't have much time left." Gu Qingcheng's expression changed. This secret realm, accessible only with merit points, is a trial realm for the soldiers who slew the demonic beasts and the residents of Hangzhou. It is the foundation of Hangzhou, and this realm cannot collapse. Come with me. Gu Qingcheng tore open a special rift with both hands and jumped in. Ziran complained, "Xiao Ye, why did you pat my head? If you want to pat someone, pat your own head." Xiao Ye laughed, "If you don't like me patting your head, then where on your body do you like me to pat you?" Ziran blushed, "You just know how to tease me, HMPH. Then, she pulled Xiao Ye and entered the special rift as well. The three appeared in a void space. In the center of the space was an irregular chaotic energy body, and in front of the chaotic energy body floated a unicorn-shaped demonic beast. This demonic beast was 2,000 meters long, and the small, irregular chaotic energy body appeared very small in front of it. "Hey, finally found you. Yesterday, my father was slain by the Empress of Hangzhou. I will make Hangzhou pay the price. Destroy secret realms one by one, rapidly diminishing Hangzhou's strength, and then, while the Empress is away, slaughter the city." Its hissing, teeth-grinding voice echoed within the core space of the secret realm. At this moment, a domineering and indifferent voice resounded behind it. "You have no chance. Go and be buried with your father." The unicorn-shaped demonic beast felt its soul leap into its throat, and exclaimed in astonishment, "Empress of Hangzhou, how did you find me here?" Chapter 434 Empress, from now on, you will be an honored guest in Hangzhou. Faced with the astonishment of the unicorn-shaped magical beast, Gu Qingcheng didn't waste any words and attacked directly. The aura of a Saint Realm Perfection expert emanated from her, and the power of the rules of fate instantly filled the entire core space of the rules. Escape. The unicorn-shaped magical beast was only at the early Saint Realm stage. It had no chance against a Saint Realm Perfection expert and could even be instantly killed. Its only option was to escape. Immediately, it unleashed its full power, attempting to break through space and escape. However, Gu Qingcheng's power of rules had already permeated the entire core space of the secret realm. For it to break through space was equivalent to breaking through the power of the rules of a Saint Realm Perfection expert. The unicorn-shaped magical beast unleashed its full power, trying to tear open space, but the space remained completely undisturbed. Escape? Do you think you can escape? Gu Qingcheng used her innate skill, Fate Lock, locks onto the enemy's fate. No matter where the opponent is, they will be attacked. A cold light flashed from her slender hand. The unicorn-shaped magical beast tried to dodge, but found that no matter which direction it dodged from, the cold light seemed to have a GPS, predicting its movements and piercing its body. The cold light, carrying a violent force of rules, raged uncontrollably within its body. With a bang, the unicorn-shaped magical beast exploded. Blood splattered everywhere. The unicorn-shaped magical beast's soul tried to escape, but it was horrified to find that the remaining cold light on its body was shooting towards its soul again. "Ah, don't come any closer," it cried out in panic. With a hiss, it was struck by the cold light, its soul annihilated, Thus, it died and its spirit vanished. Gu Qingchang stood tall and straight, her indifferent gaze unwavering. Xiao Ye, this man, is indeed very capable of being the husband of my 3 good sisters, she thought to herself. Gu Qingchang chuckled, of course. Let me tell you, that magical beast destroyed nearly 10 special secret realms in my Hangzhou base city, severely damaging its foundation. Although I eventually slew it, the damaged foundation couldn't be repaired. You should be grateful that you had my husband's guidance to kill the beast beforehand and save Hangzhou's foundation. You should thank him, he helped you by preventing huge losses to Hangzhou's interests. Gu Qingchang's face was filled with complex emotions. The man she had looked down on not long ago had unintentionally helped her immensely. Sensing the change in Xiao Gu's emotions, Shenheng Gu Qingchang snorted, from now on, you must treat my husband as an honored guest in Hangzhou, with the utmost courtesy. He is not only capable of being the husband of your 3 best friends, but also capable of being your husband, Gu Qingchang. Understand? Gu Qingchang replied, I will treat him as an honored guest in Hangzhou, with the highest level of courtesy. But as my husband, that's unnecessary. Shenhen Gu Qingchang smiled, it's alright. Right now, even if you wanted to marry my husband, he probably wouldn't even consider you. What you should do now is treat people politely, improve your impression on your husband, so he doesn't dislike you. If you can make him like you, that would be even better. Gu Qingchang remained expressionless. After a long silence, she finally spoke. He is qualified to be my best friend's husband, but I must observe whether my 3 best friends are doing well, and how he treats them. If my best friends aren't doing well, I will, as their eldest sister, teach him a lesson. She wouldn't break them up, but teaching him a lesson was certainly possible. The divine soul Gu Qingchang was furious, if you don't improve his impression of you soon, you'll regret it. By then, once you're in love, pursuing him will be fraught with obstacles. HMPH. Our best friends are happier than you imagine. Remembering something, a pang of sadness and self-reproach appeared in her eyes. Gu Qingchang scoffed, pursue him? Impossible. I only saw him as a freeloader, taking advantage of my best friends. I didn't see how he treated them. Sigh, the divine soul Gu Qingchang sighed, then you decide. After my intervention, the situation is much better than it was for me. Outside. Ziran chuckled, how about it? Aren't my sisters amazing? They killed a Saint Realm expert in one move. Xiao Ye nodded, very amazing. Activate template adjuster, detection function, detection target, Gu Qingchang, SSS rank destiny key Rin template, upgradable, attribute, destiny, template contains 10 destiny type rule crystals, template problem, excessive absorption of destiny type rule fragments during awakening, lacking creation type crystals, causing template instability. Solution, remove 2 destiny type crystals and integrate 2 creation type crystals. Physical defect, leakage of rule power caused by template instability, deeply hidden in the genes. Genes are structures smaller than DNA fragments, even a Saint Realm perfection cannot repair or adjust them. The surging rule power causes her realm to stagnate, resulting in a very strong and domineering personality. Solution, combine absorption with Zhuanghuang gemstones, using secret massage techniques to guide the unstable rule power deep within the genes. After reading the results from the template adjuster, Xiao Ye was stunned. This Hangzhou Empress's template actually had a problem. And a significant one at that. The template absorbs rule fragment crystals, which must contain both creation type and other attribute type rule fragment crystals. Creation type is the foundation, while attribute type is the building. A building without a foundation will eventually collapse. If the template problem of the Empress of Hangzhou is not resolved soon, she will probably suffer 100 or 1,000 times worse than Ziran. Ziran almost had her foundation destroyed and died from her body exploding. The Empress of Hangzhou. Xiao Ye's lips twitched, he couldn't imagine it. For some reason, a hint of pity appeared in his eyes when he looked at Gu Qingchang. Ziran was taken aback. Xiao Ye, why are you staring at Qingchang's butt? Do you have a crush on her? Let me warn you, a domineering and strong woman like her wouldn't be interested in you. HMPH. Ziran retorted angrily. You're still staring? You have a stunning beauty like me right next to you, and you're still lusting after her looks? You stinky man. Xiao Ye's face darkened. I was observing her template. What are you thinking? Her template has a big problem. That's why I observed her more closely. It's not what you think. Sister Ziran, I've noticed you get jealous quite easily. Ziran's anger froze, her pretty face flushed with embarrassment. She said awkwardly, "Oh, I was just teasing you. I'm not jealous at all." "Right. How could I, Ziran, be jealous? I'd only be jealous of my best friend. No way." Gu Qingcheng checked the heart of the secret realm and, finding no problems, reinforced the core space of the secret realm and set up new world restrictions. After finishing everything, she came to Ziran and Xiao Ye's side. Watching the two flirting, Gu Qingcheng suddenly realized that her best friend Ziran had completely fallen for the young man. Gu Qingcheng felt conflicted. Chapter 435 Gu Qingcheng, I am clear about my gratitude and grudges. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, Gu Qingcheng would never have imagined that her best friend, Ziran, would fall for such a young boy and be so deeply in love with him. Ziran was the leader of the Supreme Alliance, leading nearly 100 Supremas and several quasi-saint elders. Yet, Ziran had fallen for this young man. This also indirectly demonstrated that this man was extraordinary. Gu Qingcheng said, "Xiao Ye, thank you. If it weren't for your guidance, my Hangzhou base city would probably have suffered huge losses." As she spoke, her oppressive aura completely subsided, and her eyes softened, unlike her previous forceful and domineering demeanor. Xiao Ye could sense the change in Gu Qingcheng's attitude. He smiled, waved his hand, and said, "You're welcome. Now that the matter of the unicorn-shaped magical beast is resolved, we should go and hunt down devouring magical beasts to obtain resources." Gu Qingcheng nodded, "Then let's go together." Then, the three of them left the core space of the secret realm and arrived in the 20th secret realm small world. The portals to and from the small world had returned to normal, and the soldiers and generals had already left. Above a mountain range, Gu Qingcheng pointed her slender white finger downwards and said, "This mountain range has the largest number of devouring beasts. The highest level is the Supreme Realm, and the lowest is newly born mortal rank beasts. The total number of all beasts exceeds 10,000. She personally intervened, unleashing her powerful divine sense at the peak of the Saint Realm, instantly covering the entire mountain range. In an instant, she knew the situation within a radius of 10,000 miles. Gu Qingcheng raised her hand upwards. A shocking scene unfolded. Devouring beasts, like dumplings being dropped into a pot, were forced to rise into the sky, densely packed, and converged in front of the three. Half a minute later, tens of thousands of devouring beasts had gathered in front of them. These devouring beasts were all restrained, unable to move, only able to reveal terrified eyes, their limbs flailing helplessly. Ziran was taken aback. "You captured all the magical beasts?" Gu Qingcheng smiled, her beautiful face revealing a hint of joy. "That's right. Your husband helped me earlier, and I, Gu Qingcheng, am a person who repays kindness. Consider these devouring magical beasts of this mountain range as repayment. Xiao Ye, please accept them." She had been watching Xiao Ye capture the creation-type magical beasts and knew he enjoyed capturing or raising them. She decided to take advantage of this to satisfy him. Xiao Ye was somewhat surprised. For the first time, he felt that Gu Qingcheng wasn't so unpleasant after all. To repay a debt of gratitude, she was actually willing to empty the entire mountain range of magical beasts. He had previously revealed that the unicorn-shaped magical beast was destroying the heart of the secret realm to prevent its collapse and the annihilation of these devouring magical beasts, not to help Gu Qingcheng. Was this an unintentional favor? An unexpected delight? "Sister Qingcheng, since you're so enthusiastic, I'll reluctantly accept them." Xiao Ye rubbed his hands together, his expression excited. Ziran's attributes are creation and devouring. Cultivating at the Saint Realm requires a vast amount of rule fragment crystals, so she definitely needs to raise many magical beasts with related attributes. "Sister Qingcheng. You call me so affectionately, tisk tisk tisk, you're so lucky." A sour voice echoed in Gu Qingcheng's mind. It was the voice of her divine soul, Gu Qingcheng. Gu Qingcheng was speechless, responding in her mind, "Have you been a resentful woman for too long? Your brain has become rusty. You're even jealous of me. We are both Gu Qingcheng. When he calls me, he's calling you." The divine Gu Qingcheng's expression froze. "When my husband called me back then, he called me the Empress of Hangzhou. How unfamiliar that title was. If I hadn't changed some details, you might still be trying to break them up. Back then, I used some scheming and tricks to try and break them up, which made my husband dislike me." She then became delighted. "But it's alright. After I go back, My husband's attitude towards me should be much better. Little Gu, do a few more things to please your husband and completely change his attitude towards us. Gu Qingchang snorted coldly. I'm not like you, easily hooked. But I, the Empress of Hangzhou, am a person who knows how to repay kindness and is clear about right and wrong. Since I've already acknowledged his identity, I will treat him politely and regard him as an honored guest of Hangzhou-based city. The divine soul Gu Qingchang chuckled, saying, that's good. As long as you can make my husband not dislike you, I have a way to make him fall in love with you. Over 100 years have passed, I've long since figured out my husband's likes and dislikes. It's just that my seduction skills are still no match for that vixen Zuran. My husband is indifferent to me, so many methods don't work, but now it's different. Gu Qingchang's face darkened, speechless. Are you seriously ill? Making Xiao Ye fall in love with me? Isn't that just asking me to steal my best friend's man? I, the Empress of Hangzhou, can't do that. The divine soul Gu Qingchang shrugged, unconcerned. Once you fall for him, even if I don't tell you, you'll beg me to tell you the method. Outside. Ziran, clinging to Xiao Ye's arm, laughed. Xiao Ye, 50 magical beasts again, right? Xiao Ye nodded, yes, pick 50 old, weak, sick, and disabled ones. I'll capture the rest and keep them in captivity. Such a large group is enough for your cultivation. I'm a little thirsty. Can you conjure a few glasses of iced cola for me? Okay. Ziran flipped her hand, and her materialization power manifested, instantly producing 2 glasses of cola on her fair palm. Xiao Ye took them and frowned. I want them iced. You can eat ice today, right? Ziran grinned, yes. Then she conjured some small ice crystals and put them into the cola, feeling the temperature with the back of her hand, and said, is this temperature okay? Xiao Ye took a sip, nodded, and said with satisfaction, this is a good chilling temperature, and the taste is very good. And so, as he sipped his iced cola, Ziran released her divine sense and began selecting magical beasts. One by one, the old, weak, sick, and disabled devouring magical beasts were selected by her and imprisoned in mid-air behind her. Gu Qingchang. No matter how she looked at it, her husband Ziran was a freeloader. Although her husband Ziran was excellent, capable, and had helped her, Gu Qingchang, a lot, it didn't change the fact that this man liked to live off women. He made Ziran do everything while he drank cold drinks on the side, holding a beautiful woman and making her do things. When there was work to be done, his wife did it. When there was nothing to do, his wife did it all. Gu Qingchang's voice rang out, HMPH, this slut is so lucky, able to do things for her husband all the time. Sigh, if only I could do things for my husband like that. Gu Qingchang's face darkened. Old Gu was indeed a woman who had been strung along like a peacock, even wanting a man to live off her. Chapter 436 Empress, this man is really hungry. Could it be that she's been living alone for too long and can't bear the loneliness anymore? Gu Qingchang imagined marrying a man and then living alone for 100 years. Her face stiffened. If that happened, she'd go crazy. Beside her, Ziran watched as the 50 old, weak, and sick devouring beasts behind her used their divine sense to strangle their souls. The souls were strangled, leaving no visible wounds on their corpses. Xiao Ye, I'm done. Now it's your turn. She wanted a sip of her iced cola, only to find that Xiao Ye had also taken it. Ziran snorted and snatched the last glass of cola from Xiao Ye's lips. She bit down on the straw and gulped it down, finishing it completely. HMPH, only a little left. Ziran snorted, but the upturned corners of her mouth showed she wasn't angry. Instead, she was secretly pleased. Gu Qingchang's beautiful eyes widened in disbelief. Ah, this is the ice drink that man drank from. Ziran just snatched it and drank it like that? Can a husband and wife do this? Her divine soul sneered. That slut did it on purpose. I remember Ziran clearly doesn't like cola, but she still snatched it and drank it. HMPH, that slut's methods of seducing her husband are truly profound. Gu Qingchang. She actually snatched it on purpose. Gu Qingchang, in her divine form, suddenly licked her lips and complained, Little Gu, don't make a fuss. Forget iced drinks, I'll drink anything and eat anything as long as it's my husband's. Having watched many adult films, Gu Qingchang suddenly blushed, thinking of something, and said, shut up, you dirty-minded woman. Your thoughts are so filthy. Alright, stop talking. That man is about to use his abilities. I didn't see it clearly last time, but this time, I must see clearly what methods he uses? Gu Qingcheng was completely bewildered. What did I say? How did I become a dirty-minded woman? Beside her, Xiao Ye glanced at Ziran and said, okay, now it's my turn. But my shoulders are a little sore. It would be great if someone could massage them for me. Ziran rolled her eyes, and placed her soft little hands on Xiao Ye's broad shoulders, beginning to massage them. Who told you to be my husband? I'll grant your wish. Xiao Ye was quite satisfied and immediately activated the template adjuster, enabling the rule fragment crystal extraction function. Extraction rule fragment type selection, devouring type. Boom. A supreme and vast power descended, covering the 50 recently deceased devouring type magical beast corpses. The magical beast corpses, as if subjected to a great terror, began to convulse. A putrid, foul stench emanated from their bodies. It's here. Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes narrowed, her expression extremely serious, focusing intently on the magical beast corpses, not missing a single detail. Under her gaze, the magical beasts convulsed incessantly, their bodies beginning to rot and decay. After the state lasted for half a minute, the 50 magical beast corpses were completely decayed, gradually decomposing and dissipating into specks of light in the air. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. Throughout the entire process, she hadn't sensed any power, nor felt any energy flow. These magical beasts seemed to have simply vanished naturally. Unaffected by any external forces, they would have naturally vanished. But it was that man who intervened, causing these magical beasts to perish. The Empress was dumbfounded. Why can't I sense what methods he used? She asked in her mind. Her divine soul, Gu Qingcheng, bluntly said, don't waste your energy figuring this out. Even if it were you 100 years from now, or even my time, I wouldn't be able to tell. This is most likely a top-tier Dao talent skill in the universe. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. Top tier in the universe? We haven't even left Blue Star, and he already possesses a top-tier talent skill in the universe? Her divine soul, Gu Qingcheng, looked at her with disdain and said, you're too ignorant. My husband's abilities are far more terrifying than this. You haven't left Blue Star, but I have. Put away that bumpkin look on your face and don't embarrass me, Gu Qingcheng. Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. As the Empress of Hangzhou, the #1 genius of the older generation of the Dragon Kingdom, she was being called a bumpkin by her future self? After a long pause, her expression returned to normal, and she gave Xiao Ye, who was having his shoulders massaged by Ziran, a deep look. This man was far more terrifying than she had imagined. For some reason, Gu Qingcheng became even more curious about Xiao Ye. Why was he exterminating these magical beasts? Capturing some magical beasts and then killing them, wasn't it just for fun, not to obtain magical beast cores? She didn't believe that this man would be so idle, nor did she think that Ziran would be so idle. Grandmaster Realm Magical Beast, successfully extracted 40 Devouring Rule Fragment Crystals. Great Grandmaster Realm Magical Beast, successfully extracted 20 Devouring Rule Fragment Crystals, with 60 Devouring Rule Fragments in hand. Xiao Ye nodded in satisfaction. Now, he had obtained all the rule fragment resources needed for Ziran's upgrade template 50 creation type, and 50 devouring type. Now, all that was left was to retain the Saint Realm crystal resources. The Grandmaster, Great Grandmaster, Venerable, Great Venerable, and Saint Realm crystal resources were easy to obtain, but the Supreme Realm crystal resources were difficult to obtain. 200 Supreme Realm magical beast cores. He moved 2 devouring rule fragment crystals from his system space into his pocket, making it bulge. Xiao Ye laughed. Sister Ziran, I'll show you a big treasure. Ziran had seen the treasure before and knew what Xiao Ye was going to show her, so she excitedly said, take it out. Your big treasure, I love it. She massaged his shoulders with much more force. Xiao Ye immediately wanted to take it out, but remembering the Empress of Hangzhou was nearby, he thought for a moment and said, never mind. It's not suitable to take it out here. I'll show it to you when we get back. Ziran looked at Gu Qingcheng and smiled, whatever. Gu Qingcheng. She glanced at Xiao Ye's bulging pants, her pretty face immediately turning red, and she awkwardly looked away. Is this man too hungry? Ziran said somewhat anxiously, quickly put these magical beasts away. It's getting late, we should rest. Xiao Ye nodded, released a bronze palace, and captured all the nearly 10,000 devouring magical beasts, placing them in the Holy Spirit secret realm. Gu Qingchang smiled and said, "Let's go to my place, I'll treat you well." The three of them left the secret realm and arrived at the city lord's mansion in Hangzhou Base City. Xiao Ye and Ziran were brought to Gu Qingchang's private palace. Gu Qingchang looked at Xiao Ye's pockets with a slightly awkward expression. They were still bulging. This man was indeed hungry. Xiao Ye looked at the table in front of him, where there were only two chairs exuding a mysterious aura, his face expressionless. There were only two chairs. Where should he sit? Gu Qingchang said, "You two sit, I'll stand." These are enlightenment chairs made from the essence of enlightenment. There are only two. This man couldn't be left standing. His bulging pants were too conspicuous. Moreover, since she had accepted this man, she should treat him as one of her own and be polite. Xiao Ye's pupils contracted. The Empress of Hangzhou was actually standing and letting him sit? Was this still the domineering, powerful, and rude Empress of Hangzhou? Chapter 437 Xiao Ye's impression of the Empress improves. It seems this Empress of Hangzhou has truly accepted him. Her attitude has undergone a dramatic change. If it were when they first met this morning, she definitely wouldn't have let him sit down. Ziran noticed Gu Qingchang's strange gaze and followed it to Xiao Ye. She was immediately startled. Ziran quickly pressed Xiao Ye down, making him sit, saying, "Could you please put your precious things away? This is likely to cause misunderstandings." Precious things? Xiao Ye looked down and his lips twitched. It seemed that it was indeed likely to cause misunderstandings. He moved the two rule fragment crystals from his pocket into his system space. Instantly, his once stiff pocket flattened. Ziran breathed a sigh of relief and said irritably, "Be more careful next time." Gu Qingchang was dumbfounded. Those things were something she could just put away whenever she wanted? Xiao Ye shrugged, nonchalantly saying, "Sister Ziran, you're being too filthy, your thoughts aren't pure. An upright person like me would never think of that kind of thing." Ziran spat, "Pa, you're the one with impure thoughts? You like watching porn too, don't you?" Seeing that she couldn't get a word in edgewise with their flirting, Gu Qingchang went to prepare tea and fruit. She left. Xiao Ye and Ziran sat on the enlightenment chair, instantly feeling refreshed and invigorated. A mysterious aura enveloped them. In mere milliseconds, their minds became clear, and their control over their innate skills became much clearer. Ziran, in particular, became much more familiar with her creative materialization abilities. Wow, this enlightenment chair is incredibly effective. The essence of enlightenment, the aura emanating from it, is equivalent to drinking a cup of saint-level enlightenment tea with just one breath. Sitting on it, absorbing it through your pores, feels like you're constantly drinking saint-level enlightenment tea. The two gasped, feeling their eyes had been opened. This Empress of Hangzhou is truly wealthy and powerful. She doesn't need to consume the essence of enlightenment. She's made two chairs. Anyone else would surely keep it close at hand, not easily showing it to others. Gu Qingchang has great courage. After a while, Gu Qingchang brought over tea and fruit, placed them on the table, and said with a smile, "Ziran, Xiao Ye, you'll be staying here for a while you're in Hangzhou. You can stay here. I have many rooms and multiple floors, just choose any floor." Xiao Ye glanced at the items on the table and muttered, "A little wine would be even better." Ziran rolled her eyes, "This isn't our home, don't be so picky." Xiao Ye smiled, "It's alright, I was just saying." Upon hearing this, a smile appeared on Gu Qingchang's beautiful face. She said, "Yesterday, I found several jars of 1,000-year-old wine in the lair of the Beast King of the Holy Realm. I drink a little wine sometimes, and since Xiao Ye likes it, I'll bring it out for us to drink together. Ziran, this villa has 10 floors. You can choose a floor, that floor will always belong to you. This is your home." As she spoke, she took out an ancient wine jar emitting a rich aroma from her storage space. The wine jar hadn't even been opened yet, just placing it on the table released a rich aroma that instantly filled the entire living room. Xiao Ye's eyes lit up. He knew from the smell that this wine was even better than the signature 1 cup of intoxication from the Maid Tavern in Shanghai. Gu Qingchang took out 3 small cups and poured a small cup for each person. This wine is brewed from fruits of the Saint Realm level, aged for tens of thousands of years. You can't drink too much, just a few sips. Drinking too much will cause trouble. Her pretty face inexplicably flushed, and she stopped there. Ziran didn't believe it. She was also of the Saint Realm level and said, "Wine is for drinking, what could possibly happen?" "Qingchang, I've noticed you've changed a lot since we first met. You're even listening to Xiao Ye's opinions now, and you even brought out a wine jar to entertain him. Tell me, have you taken a liking to my Xiao Ye? Xiao Ye nodded, his impression of Gu Qingcheng improving slightly. He no longer disliked her so much. It seemed that this Empress of Hangzhou was no longer resistant to him. Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, flirted with Xiao Ye? Not at all. Your husband's abilities have earned my approval. I'm happy to see Xiao Ye, who is capable of being entrusted with the lives of my 3 best friends. Then, she looked at Xiao Ye, her expression serious, and said, Xiao Ye, let's reintroduce ourselves. I'm the eldest sister of Ziran, Xiao Zai, and Xiao Bing. In front of our own people, you don't need to call me the Empress of Hangzhou, just call me Sister Qingcheng. From now on, I'll protect you. However, you must treat my 3 sisters well and not let them suffer. Otherwise, I will use my position as their eldest sister to teach you a lesson. Ziran smiled mischievously. Xiao Ye, did you hear that? You're not allowed to let us suffer in the future, or I'll tell Qingcheng and have her teach you a lesson. Xiao Ye nodded. Don't worry, Sister Qingcheng, as long as they are my beast girls, I won't let them suffer. Gu Qingcheng was very satisfied. Ziran giggled and then downed her drink in one gulp. As the 10,000-year-old wine entered her stomach, her beautiful eyes widened suddenly, and she felt a surge of heat throughout her body. Ugh! This wine is so strong. Gu Qingcheng's expression changed, and she raised her hand to stop her, but it was too late. This wine increases desire in certain areas. That Beast King's numerous offspring must have been due to the increased success rate from drinking this wine. Ziran drank it, and with her husband by her side, it should be fine, right? Anyway, she dared not drink too much. If she drank too much, she wouldn't be able to relieve herself, and without any release, she would only be able to suppress it. In her mind, Gu Qingcheng cursed, Little Gu, why did you bring out this wine? Couldn't you have used something else? HMPH, you're making this slut drink this kind of wine? Are you trying to get my husband's favor? Besides, you bought those electric toys, but you're too scared to use them. Are you trying to suffocate yourself by drinking this wine? Gu Qingcheng was speechless. They're a couple. What's wrong with them having a drink? What they do is their business. Why are you so anxious? If you're jealous, go back 100 years and go drink with your husband yourself. Oh, I almost forgot, your husband isn't paying attention to you. Gu Qingcheng exploded. Little Gu, watch your words. Do you still want to improve your aptitude? Do you still want to solve your stagnation and cultivation? If you mock me again, I'll never tell you. Gu Qingcheng's face stiffened. Well, I misspoke, okay? She felt extremely awkward saying this. She, the Empress of Hangzhou, had never bowed her head, never begged anyone, and had never apologized like this. Gu Qingcheng snorted coldly, her face expressionless. Seeing as your apology is sincere, I'll reluctantly forgive you. Listen to my advice more often in the future. If you satisfy me, I'll tell you how to solve your stagnation and cultivation, including how to improve your aptitude. Gu Qingcheng nodded vigorously. Don't worry, you are me. Of course I'll listen to your advice. Ziran suddenly squeezed her legs together tightly. Ugh! Xiao Ye, there's something wrong with this wine. Her pure and pretty face was flushed, and she gave Xiao Ye a flirtatious wink. Xiao Ye understood her meaning and asked incredulously, Sister Ziran, are you hungry? Ziran nodded. Yes, I'm hungry. Qingcheng, see you tomorrow. She hurriedly got up, pulled Xiao Ye upstairs, rushed into a random bedroom, and closed the door. Gu Qingcheng. Ziran, you haven't even eaten yet, why are you in such a hurry? She called out, but received no response. Gu Qingcheng took a small sip of wine, feeling somewhat annoyed. Her divine soul's sour voice rang out. Little Gu, quickly put the wine jar away, otherwise that slut will definitely snatch it. Gu Qingcheng shook her head. No, since Ziran likes it, I'll just give this jar of wine to her. Her divine soul's Gu Qingcheng. Chapter 438 Future Empress, you and Xiao Ye are bound to get married. With a dark expression, Shenhum Gu Qingcheng said, Little Gu, it seems you still won't listen. Do you know that you still need to rely on me to improve your aptitude? Coming from the future, she knew how to improve aptitude. It required Xiao Ye to raise the template level and resolve the stagnation in her cultivation, and it also required Xiao Ye to correct her physical deficiencies through a full-body massage. If it weren't for her advice, Little Gu would probably still be the domineering and rude Hangzhou Empress. disliked by Xiao Ye. A sharp glint flashed in Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes as she confidently said, "Old Gu, your need is to improve your husband's impression of you." "Yes, that is, Xiao Ye's impression of me. I will listen to your advice and do some things to completely improve his impression of me. But you can't interfere with my good friend Ziren and Xiao Ye's relationship, that's a matter of principle. They're husband and wife. It's only natural for couples to be loving. Even if you threaten me with improving my aptitude, I won't compromise." Gu Qingcheng's translucent face flushed red and then paled, finally sighing, "All right. My purpose in traveling back through time was indeed to improve my husband's impression of me. But when I saw that slut Ziren constantly being all lovey-dovey with my husband, I got so angry," she said through gritted teeth. "For the next 100 years, my husband originally wanted to favor me, but my three sisters, Ziren, Xiaoxi, and Xiaobing, repeatedly interfered and seduced him away. No, Xiao Gu, you must learn those methods of seducing your husband." "Yes, I want to learn too, let's learn together." Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched. "Xiao Ye is you, my future husband, but not my current husband. Why would I learn those shameful methods? I don't have any romantic feelings for him now." Gu Qingcheng's divine voice solemnly said, "The future is unchangeable. No one can change the general trend of the future, only some details. After a while, after you and my husband have experienced some things, you will inevitably fall in love with him, form a contract with him, and get married. That cannot be changed. Forget it, it's useless to say anything now. You will fall in love with him then and submit to him." Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched, speechless. She, the Empress of Hangzhou, would submit to that man? Be ravaged at will? Impossible. However, Gu Qingcheng was curious about what she and Xiao Ye would experience in the future that would move her heart. She believed the future was inevitable. The divine soul Gu Qingcheng said, "Are you still drinking that wine? Don't drink any more. Save some for yourself. You and your husband might need it later. By the way, my husband seems to really like that chair made from the essence of enlightenment. You should give one to him. Your best friend is getting married. You couldn't attend the wedding, but you should at least give a gift. Consider this jar of wine and the enlightenment essence chair as their wedding present. Ha ha ha, my husband's impression of us will definitely be better then." Imagining Xiao Ye's attitude towards her completely changing, the divine soul Gu Qingcheng's face lit up with a smile, her beautiful eyes crinkling into crescent moons, and tears of joy flowing from the corners of her mouth. Slurp. She took a deep breath, licked her lips with her little finger, swallowed hard, and was excitedly lost in thought. Gu Qingcheng nodded. "I certainly won't drink too much of this wine, I'll suffocate if I drink too much. As for gifts, you're right, a sister's wedding definitely calls for gifts." Meanwhile, in this 10-story villa, the third floor was where Xiao Ye and Ziren lived. After being hurriedly pulled into the bedroom by Ziren, Xiao Ye saw the crazy Ziren for the first time. This time, Ziren transformed into a beast, becoming extremely crazy, completely crazy, and incredibly wild. Xiao Ye almost couldn't handle it. 2 hours later, the two came out of the bathroom, fully dressed, and lay embracing on the soft bed. "You're pressing on my hair," Ziren exclaimed. Xiao Ye shifted slightly, exclaiming, "That wine is real, it's amazing. It turned a pure goddess into a beast of desire, the contrast is incredible. You only seem to have drunk a small cup." Ziren blushed and slapped Xiao Ye, saying shyly, "You're the beast of desire, it's so embarrassing." Xiao Ye laughed, "It's okay, I like you that way." Ziren's eyes widened. She actually liked it? Sure enough, men like contrasts, she complained. I'll find a way to get a jar from Qingcheng. HMPH, men are all big pigs. But, as long as you like it, what does it matter if I transform into a beast? Because Xiao Ye, you're my husband, Ziren's husband. I've chosen you, you'll belong to me for life. If any other man touches me, I'll kill myself without you even having to lift a finger. Xiao Ye was touched, and hugged Ziren even tighter. Ziren, do you know how incredibly attractive you are to men? Ziren was overjoyed, beaming with happiness. Xiao Ye continued, your template upgrade resources are only missing the cores needed to retain your realm. 200 supreme cores. Do you think Hangzhou base city has such high-level secret realms and so many magical beasts? Ziren thought for a moment, they probably do. Hangzhou base city is a top-tier base city, and Qingcheng, as the city lord, likely controls some high-level secret realms. Alright, We'll talk about these things tomorrow. Tonight, you belong to me, Ziren. Upon hearing this, Xiao Ye felt a slight pain in his lower back and exclaimed incredulously, "Seriously? You're going to do it again?" Ziren rolled her eyes. "What are you thinking? I'm not an insatiable woman. You promised to help me regain my figure. Can we begin now?" Xiao Ye breathed a sigh of relief. Regaining his figure was simple. There were 2 steps. First, he would bleed Ziren, and she would drink his blood. Since Ziren's template hadn't been upgraded yet, drinking his blood should have an effect. Second, he would use the ancient massage technique he obtained from a medical expert in Jinling City, a technique to stimulate human potential, to massage Ziren and stimulate her potential, allowing her beautiful body to develop again. As for the Chinese medicine that needed to be decocted, he would use his blood instead. The combination of the 2 should be much more effective than the Chinese medicine. Immediately, Xiao Ye took out a cup, cut his wrist, and blood shot straight to the ceiling. Fortunately, he used his energy to guide the blood into the cup, preventing waste. Ziren was shocked and exclaimed, "Xiao Ye, are you sick? Why are you hurting yourself?" She frantically took out healing medicine from her storage space and poured it all over Xiao Ye's wrist. The wound healed instantly, leaving no scar. "Xiao Ye, this blood is the catalyst to help you regain your figure, don't worry." Ziren was stunned, feeling like her eyes had been opened, and said incredulously, "Really?" Xiao Ye nodded, "Of course, I'm not sick, why would I hurt myself?" He handed her the cup full of blood, saying, "Drink it, and I'll give you a massage to stimulate your body's potential and help your figure develop again. It's just that this blood has a strong smell. If you can't drink it, drink a little." Upon hearing this, Ziren tilted her head back and gulped it down in one go, finishing it completely. After finishing, she licked her lips and said, "Anything on your body, no matter what it is, Ziren, can drink it, I can eat it." If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439 Ziren regains her figure, Gu Qingchang gives her a gift. After swallowing a cup of blood, countless cells in Ziren's body seemed to be fatally tempted, surging wildly and releasing a powerful suction force to absorb all the energy and mysterious factors contained in the blood. In an instant, Ziren felt a surge of pleasure throughout her body. In milliseconds, the cup of blood she had swallowed was completely absorbed. It feels so good." Ziren exclaimed in shock. "This is still blood? Even rare and precious herbs can't compare." Then, her gaze fixed on Xiao Ye, she swallowed hard and said, "Xiao Ye, I want to drink more." Xiao Ye shook his head. "You can't drink too much, 1 cup a day. Of course, after you upgrade your template, drinking it might not have the same effect. I'll try my best to get your figure back to its peak before you upgrade your template. Alright, lie down, I'm going to start the massage." Ziren pouted, "Fine, I won't let you drink it." Then, she followed Xiao Ye's instructions. During the massage, Ziren recalled Xiao Ye's words in the secret realm and asked, "Xiao Ye, you said Qingchang's template has a big problem?" Xiao Ye, while massaging her with an ancient secret technique, replied, "Yes, it's even bigger than your template. A slight mishap could result in her soul and spirit being destroyed." Ziren's expression changed drastically. "That's serious?" Xiao Ye nodded. "That's right. Her cultivation is currently stuck at the great perfection of the Saint Realm, unable to advance even an inch. This is only the surface level stagnation. The deeper crisis is her body exploding and dying, her soul and spirit being destroyed." Ziren's face turned grim. "Back then, I almost exploded and died after my power of the rules went berserk after I upgraded to the Saint Realm. Perhaps after Qingchang breaks through to the Quasi-Emperor Realm, her template will become even more unstable, and she might truly face a life or death crisis. Xiao Ye, do you have a way to solve this?" Xiao Ye's eyes darted around, and he said, "Yes. As long as it's a template problem, I can solve it. If your good sister doesn't mind, I can massage her to correct her physical defects." Ziren's gaze was resentful. "Can't you just solve Qingchang's template problem directly? Do you want her to be completely naked and take advantage of you?" Xiao Ye said righteously, "Of course not. The template problem is too profound. I need to understand the template through massage first before I can solve it." Ziran sighed and said helplessly, "All right then." She believed him, thinking that Xiao Ye wouldn't lie to her. But to make King Cheng completely naked in front of you, I doubt she can do it. What should we do? Ziran was somewhat worried. Xiao Ye shrugged. It's all right. At this stage, Sister King Cheng is unlikely to face a life or death crisis. Her cultivation level is stagnant, unable to break through to the quasi-emperor realm. Her template will remain in a certain state and won't suddenly become extremely unstable. Ziran breathed a sigh of relief. Yet, if you don't massage her, she can't break through to the quasi-emperor realm. If you massage her, she'll break through to the quasi-emperor realm. Even if there's a life or death crisis, you can directly solve her template problem. Xiao Ye smiled. So you don't need to worry, relax. Ziran's expression returned to normal, and her attention shifted. She felt a little itchy from the massage and said expectantly, "Xiao Ye, it's still early. After you finish the massage, how about we do some exercise?" Xiao Ye. The next day, in the underground mine's cultivation room, Gu Qingcheng, dressed in a long white robe, sat cross-legged on the crystal mine, cultivating with her eyes closed. Her sword-like eyebrows were furrowed, and she exuded a sharp aura. Her beautiful face was expressionless. Damn it, no matter how I cultivate, I still can't break through to the quasi-emperor realm. Gu Qingcheng opened her eyes, her face grim. Old Gu, what's the reason? Tell me. Gu Qingcheng, in her divine form, said helplessly, stop wasting your time, it's useless. Stop cultivating, go upstairs, my husband should be up by now. My husband is most energetic and handsome in the morning, I want to see him, hurry upstairs. Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. You keep talking about my husband, can't you tell me why my cultivation has stalled? Gu Qingcheng, in her divine form, pondered her current relationship with Xiao Ye and shook her head. It's not the right time yet. When the time comes, even if you don't ask, I'll tell you. Gu Qingcheng went upstairs. Arriving in the living room on the first floor, facing Ziran and Xiao Ye, her sharp aura completely vanished, and she became approachable. Ziran, you can even make breakfast? Gu Qingcheng was somewhat surprised to see the table piled high with steamed buns and soy milk. Ziran said proudly, Ziran, am all-rounder, of course I can make breakfast. Xiao Ye ate silently. This breakfast was materialized by Ziran using her materialization power. She made breakfast? Bullshit. The sharp-eyed Gu Qingcheng suddenly exclaimed in surprise, Ziran, you've changed. Ziran's face stiffened, somewhat embarrassed. Had she been found out? She couldn't make breakfast at all. Gu Qingcheng pointed to Ziran's figure, surprised, Ziran, your skirt has gotten thinner. Ziran looked down, her pupils shrinking. The purple skirt was no longer flat, it had bulged out. She hadn't noticed closely this morning because she was still half asleep. Ziran was overjoyed. Just one body restoring massage, and the change was so significant? At least she went from an A cup to a B cup. Xiao Ye's method was incredibly effective. A few more times, and her figure might be back to its peak. Xiao Ye was also somewhat incredulous, the effect was so good? Even Mu Qingsu's development hadn't been this good. Xiao Ye pondered for a moment, recalling last night, and concluded, it's probably because Ziran not only drank blood but also ate other things from my body, which caused this. Xiao Ye used the method, and my figure has developed again. Ziran giggled, this dress is still yesterday's size and style. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. A Saint Realm expert's figure can develop again? Divine Soul Gu Qingcheng put her hands on her hips and said smugly in her spiritual sea, little Gu, how about it? Isn't my husband exceptionally outstanding and capable? Let me tell you, he knows a lot. Gu Qingcheng nodded in surprise. This ability was indeed outstanding. Ziran glanced at the wine cabinet, not finding the jar of wine from yesterday, and tentatively said, Qingcheng, can you sell me a jar of that wine from yesterday? I'll buy it with rule fragments. You don't need that wine anyway, so just sell it to me, I can use it. Divine Soul Gu Qingcheng cursed inwardly, this slut, she really has her eye on our wine. Gu Qingcheng smiled, took out the jar of wine from yesterday from her storage space, and placed it in front of Ziran, saying, we're all good sisters, it's too formal to talk about business. I couldn't attend your wedding with Xiao Ye and didn't give a gift, so consider this jar of wine your wedding gift. Xiao Ye, the enlightenment essence chair you were sitting in is yours, keep it for yourself. These two items are my wedding gifts to you, Gu Qingcheng. Xiao Ye hesitated. These two items are too precious, we can't accept them. Ziran quickly put away the jar of wine. Xiao Ye, accept it. This is King Chang's wedding gift to us, we must accept it. She said quickly, as if afraid Gu Qingcheng would change her mind. Chapter 440 Empress, I should find a man. How could I possibly refuse my good friend's kind offer? Ziran said with a grin. Xiao Ye shook his head. Keep the jar of wine. I won't accept this enlightenment essence chair, it's too valuable. Gu Qingcheng frowned. In her view, Xiao Ye's rejection of her gift meant he hadn't accepted her as Ziran's good friend. She felt inexplicably annoyed. She had apologized, stated her position, and acknowledged Xiao Ye. But in the end, Xiao Ye still didn't consider her one of his own. Was first impression really that important? When Gu Qingcheng first met Xiao Ye, she had indeed been very domineering and rude. Did Xiao Ye still dislike her so much now? Shenhen Gu Qingcheng snorted coldly, little Gu, I can tell that my husband doesn't dislike you as much anymore, but he still has some resistance to you, so he's embarrassed to accept the gifts you gave him. No, you have to do something more to make my husband less resistant to you. Let me think, my husband probably has important things to do next. Find a reason to follow him the whole time and help him out, see if you can eliminate his resistance and aversion to you. Gu Qingcheng looked at Xiao Ye's handsome face, feeling somewhat annoyed. Then, she sighed and replied in her mind, fine, even if it's for your happiness, up, for my future happiness. Shenhen Gu Qingcheng nodded, little Gu, you'll feel wise about your decision later. Ziran glanced at the steamed buns and soy milk in Xiao Ye's hand and said, I want to eat imported breakfast. Xiao Ye paused, saying, this isn't the right occasion. Ziran didn't care, took a steamed bun, and shoved it into his face. Xiao Ye ate Ziran's imported steamed buns. Ziran chuckled, how is it? Is it good? Delicious. Xiao Ye exclaimed. Gu Qingcheng, standing beside her, froze. Was she being used as a third wheel? Gu Qingcheng's voice, tinged with sarcasm, rang out, tisk tisk tisk, this slut really knows how to play the game, always trying to seduce her husband. Qingcheng, learn from her, you'll need her later. Yet, I'm learning too, this slut is helping me improve. Gu Qingcheng's expression turned slightly awkward as she looked away. She had drunk a glass of that wine yesterday, and the effects of the alcohol, which she had been suppressing, seemed to be almost uncontrollable now, making her feel hot all over. Hey, Qingcheng, where are you going? Sit down and have breakfast. Ziran saw Gu Qingcheng rushing upstairs and asked curiously. Xiao Ye chuckled, she's probably washing up. It's alright, we'll ask her again after she comes down if there are any high-level secret realms in Hangzhou 200 Supreme Realm Crystal Cores. If we can get them in Hangzhou, we'll get them there. By the way, when your father Zidao left, he left you a stored ring. Did he give you any cultivation resources? Ziran placed a stored ring in front of Xiao Ye, saying, I haven't looked at it yet. Xiao Ye opened the stored ring and checked its contents. When the contents came into view, he was immediately astonished. 60 devouring type rule fragments, 100 creation type rule fragments. Your father is too generous, too extravagant, he exclaimed. Ziran tilted her head, leaned on Xiao Ye's shoulder, and giggled. Then can you find some time to come back to the realm of rules with me? I haven't been back in a long time. To be honest, I really miss the place where I lived when I was a child. All your beast girls can come along. Xiao Ye thought for a moment and said, that's possible. But only after we get back and your template upgrade is complete. Smack. Ziran leaned in and gave Xiao Ye a kiss on the cheek, feeling very happy, and said, Xiao Ye, you're so good to me. Afterwards, the two finished breakfast and waited for half an hour, but Gu Qingcheng didn't come down. Ziran was a little impatient and wanted to go upstairs to find her, but Xiao Ye stopped her. Where are you going? Just waiting here. Xiao Ye laughed. Ziran broke free from Xiao Ye's hand and pulled him upstairs, saying, maybe she's angry because you didn't accept her gift, and she's deliberately ignoring us. Let's go up and see what she's doing. They reached the top floor, the stairwell of the 10th floor. The main door was tightly shut. A pair of shoes lay in front of it, still warm, indicating they were Gu Qingcheng's recent clothes. Ziran knocked and called out, Qingcheng, can we come in? There was no response. Click. Ziran opened the door and pulled Xiao Ye inside. They saw a long white robe and 2 pairs of underwear on the sofa. Taking a shower? Ziren asked knowingly, and pulled Xiao Ye to sit down on the sofa. Xiao Ye, where are you looking? Don't look. Seeing Xiao Ye's curious gaze fixed on the underwear, Ziren said angrily. Oh. Xiao Ye blushed slightly. I didn't expect King Cheng to have such a good figure. Her bra size is at least 36D. Ziren, don't misunderstand. I absolutely have no feelings for King Cheng. Any man who sees this will probably subconsciously admire it. Ziren followed Xiao Ye's gaze and saw the two pairs of underwear. Her pupils contracted. Just as Xiao Ye said, the level was at least a D, but she couldn't tell if it was 36D. Xiao Ye was even more accurate in this regard than she was. Ziren was greatly surprised and said, I didn't expect King Cheng's figure to be so good, it can even rival Xiaoxi's. She quickly pulled her long white robe up to cover her underwear. Xiao Ye, can you let some blood out now? I want to grow taller. She stared at Xiao Ye with dry eyes. Xiao Ye hurriedly shook his head. No, drink it tonight. This stuff needs to be combined with secret massage to achieve the maximum effect. Drinking blood so early in the morning, that's too weird. The two stayed on the sofa for more than half an hour. The bathroom door opened. White mist rose from inside, filling the entire living room and making it look ethereal. The white mist also contained a light fragrance, which smelled very nice. Xiao Ye sniffed and muttered, this smells like Sister King Cheng's natural fragrance. A stunningly beautiful figure emerged from the steamy bathroom, dressed in a brand new, long white robe. Unlike her usual dignified and serious face, Gu Qingcheng's face was flushed, and her exposed neck and hands were a deep, bright red, like overcooked lobsters. Something was definitely wrong. Ziren rushed forward, asking with concern, Qingcheng, are you alright? Ouch! She touched Gu Qingcheng's hand, immediately pulling it back from the heat. Why are you so hot? Were you soaking in lava? Gu Qingcheng was somewhat embarrassed, her pretty face flushing. Yes, I just soaked in lava, took a bath. Ziren looked at her with a perverted gaze. Taking a bath in lava, you're probably the only one in the world who would do that. Ho ha ho ha. In her mind, the spiritual Gu Qingcheng burst into laughter, her chest heaving from the laughter. Little Gu, you'd better find a man quickly, or you'll suffocate. Yes, hurry up and be with my husband. I told you to use the video game, but you're too scared to use it, haha, you're the one suffering. Gu Qingcheng blushed. She had just been soaking in ice water to suppress the effects of the wine in her body. She glanced at Xiao Ye, thinking to herself, I think I really should find a man. Chapter 441 Future Empress, knock him out, I'll take control of my body. If she had a man, she wouldn't need to soak in ice water to cool down the heat in her heart and body. They say women are like wolves at 30 and tigers at 40, at 1,500 years old. Was she like a wild monster? Gu Qingcheng asked in her mind, Old Gu, are Xiao Ye and I definitely husband and wife? Is it impossible for me to be with another man? The divine soul Gu Qingcheng said firmly, yes, the future is unchangeable and cannot be changed. Even if you try your best to retreat, know the future in advance, and try your best to change it, the world's power will still correct the timeline's trajectory. Whether I travel back from the future or not, you will inevitably become my husband's beast girl. So you don't need to waste your time on other men. If you want a man, just go to her husband. Gu Qingcheng snorted, other men? I don't care. For the first time, she didn't refute her husband. The divine soul Gu Qingcheng spoke of. Shenhen Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes lit up, and she said, anyway, you're feeling really unwell right now. Why don't you find a chance to knock my husband unconscious and let me take control of his body so I can release the lingering effects of the drug from the alcohol in your system? As she spoke, she swallowed hard, licked her lips, and her eyes became eager. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. Knock him unconscious? And then you can write him all over and do whatever you want? No, I can't accept that. You're using my body and ruining my purity. I, Gu Qingcheng, have always been pure and innocent. If you do that, I'll be the one who suffers. Shenhen Gu Qingcheng was a little disappointed and said regretfully, HMPH, then you can keep it to yourself. I'll keep it to myself until I die. You'll be a spinster for life. After being rebuked like this, Gu Qingcheng fell into deep thought, glancing at Xiao Ye a few times, seemingly lost in thought. Ziren leaned closer to Xiao Ye and whispered, Xiao Ye, is something wrong with Qingcheng? Can you take a look for me? Xiao Ye activated the template adjuster and checked Gu Qingcheng's information. Just like yesterday, There were no signs of extreme template instability. He shook his head and said, "It's fine, no problems." Ziran breathed a sigh of relief. It was good that nothing was wrong. Then, she spoke up, "King Cheng, in Hangzhou Base City, are there any high-level secret realms, the kind with many Supreme Realm magical beasts? We need to obtain about 200 Supreme Realm crystal cores." 200 Supreme Realm crystal cores? Gu Qingchang gasped. "Is it for your husband's cultivation? Does a mythical level template require such a huge amount of resources? When she was in the Supreme Realm, she only used about 40 Supreme Realm crystal cores." Ziran shook her head. "It's not him, it's me. I need these crystal cores." Gu Qingchang smiled, her pretty face flushed. "Ziran, don't hide it. Xiao Ye needs cultivation resources. As long as Hangzhou has them, I'll give them to him. I've said it before, I'm your big sister. From now on, I'll protect you. Either of you just need to ask for cultivation resources, and I'll find a way to help you." Xiao Ye felt a mix of emotions. This Hangzhou Empress truly treated him like one of her own. Unlike when they first met, when she questioned and rejected him. Ziran laughed. "Think what you want, just tell me, are there any secret realms like that in Hangzhou? Such secret realms exist within my Supreme Alliance, but I don't have the authority to enter. I need to consult the Supreme Elder. You and I are different. In the Supreme Alliance, although I am the Alliance leader and wield great power, there is still a Supreme Elder above me. But you are the city lord of Hangzhou Base City, and all resources are at your disposal." Gu Qingchang nodded. "Advanced secret realms? Yes. I can't say they're in Hangzhou. I have a way to go to those advanced secret realms, which are actually alien planets." Ziran's eyes lit up. "Then give me the special coordinates of that planet, and Xiao Ye and I will go there to obtain crystal core resources." Gu Qingchang quickly said, "I'll go too. That world has quasi-emperor level beings, if you just wander in, it might be dangerous." Ziran looked at Gu Qingchang, who was completely red-faced, and asked doubtfully, "Isn't it inappropriate for you to go out in this state?" Gu Qingchang shook her head. "It's nothing, just a small problem, it won't affect my ability to fight." Gu Qingchang, her divine soul, clapped her hands and cheered, "Yes, let's go together." If she remembered correctly, she had helped Xiao Ye a lot in this matter, making her husband less disgusted with her. This was crucial in their later contract and union. Now that a wisp of her divine soul had returned using a treasure to travel through time and space, she was confident that she could handle this matter even better, completely changing her husband's opinion of her and making him less resistant to her. In the process, she was also brainwashing Xiao Gu. "He. Our future happiness depends on me." Gu Qingchang, her divine soul, stood on the treasure of time and space, hands on her hips, grinning wickedly, her small mouth almost splitting to her ears. "Okay. With enough crystal cores to upgrade the template," Ziran was extremely excited. "Then let's set off now. Don't you have any matters to handle in your base city?" Gu Qingchang swept her hands through the void, tearing open a special rift, and shook her head. "Those are minor matters, I can leave them to the people below. Follow me." She stepped into the special rift. Ziran, holding Xiao Ye's rough hand, quickly followed him inside. The three traversed the endless void swiftly. Even with the power of a Saint Realm expert, it took them considerable time to cross the distance between planets. A day later, the three emerged from the back of the space and arrived in the cosmic void. Before them lay a colossal planet stretching across the pitch-black universe, its surface a purplish blue. The three appeared incredibly small. "This is it. This is an ocean planet. Land accounts for less than 1%. Almost all magical beasts live in the deep sea. The high-end combat power of the magical beasts is inferior to that of Blue Star, but their mid-level combat power far surpasses that of Blue Star. Perhaps due to the special nature of the world's rules, Supreme Realm experts are as common as dogs, Saint Realm experts are everywhere, and Quasi-Emperor Realm experts are few and far between. This isn't a planet kept by my Hangzhou Base City. Hangzhou Base City doesn't have the capacity to keep such a high-level world." Gu Qingchang's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly as she explained to the two. "However, don't be too nervous. Although I'm only at the peak of the Saint Realm, I'm confident I can hold my own against Quasi-Emperor level monsters. As long as they're not at the peak of the Quasi-Emperor level, I'm confident I can kill them." Ziran seemed to know her well, nodding and smiling. "Then you'll be my bodyguard this time." Xiao Ye was somewhat surprised. A Destiny-type template was actually this awesome. A Saint Realm Peak cultivator, confident in killing quasi-emperor-level magical beasts. He swallowed hard. He was a little envious of Destiny-type templates. Afterwards, Gu Qingchang led the two to a location, descended onto the planet, and with a few splashes, plunged into the sea, rushing towards the deep sea. Ziran's divine sense spread out, taking in the situation within a radius of 10,000 miles in the deep sea. Supreme magical beasts, all supreme magical beasts. 10, 20, 80. She rubbed her hands excitedly, saying, "Mine, all mine." Chapter 442 Bikini Empress, Xiao Ye feasts his eyes. This place is about 10,000 meters deep in the ocean, where the water pressure is much greater than the impact of a fully loaded truck. Huge sea beasts covered in chilling scales roam the dark, lightless water. Anyone with thalassophobia would be terrified. The deeper one goes into the ocean trench, the stronger the sea beasts become, and their cultivation levels rise accordingly. At this depth of 10,000 meters, there are many terrifying sea beasts at the supreme realm. However, when Ziran saw these deep-sea behemoths in her divine sense, she was filled with excitement and exhilaration. In her eyes, these behemoths posed no threat whatsoever, and the 10,000-meter water pressure was nothing to her. Supreme realm magical beasts, the more the better. Ziran casually struck, creating quite a commotion in the deep sea. Hearing the commotion, the surrounding supreme realm deep sea behemoths swam and darted towards the three of them. Not far away, a giant deep sea crocodile, its eyes flashing with a chilling crimson light, and its mouth dripping with thick, foul-smelling mucus, was the first to swim towards them. Ziran, at 1.7 meters tall, Xiao Ye, at 1.85 meters, and Gu Qingcheng, at 1.8 meters, appeared incredibly small next to this 5,000-meter-long, 100-meter-tall crocodile. It seemed they could be swallowed whole, not even leaving a trace. The three concealed their presence, and Gu Qingcheng suggested, "Lure them. We need to learn how to lure them, to get those sea beasts to gather here first, then we can make our move. So we don't have to search for them one by one." Ziran's beautiful eyes lit up. As expected of the Empress, she can even think of such a good method. Upon hearing this, Gu Qingcheng's translucent face showed astonishment. "Little Gu, you're something else. I told you to learn how to seduce your husband, but you refused. Yet you're quite adept at seducing sea beasts. Sigh, if only you used that ability on my husband." Hearing the melodious voice in her mind, Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched, and she retorted, "Old Gu, shut up. If you say I should seduce men again, I'll sew your mouth shut." Then, with a casual flick of her wrist, she created another commotion behind her in the deep sea, and took out a supreme-level rare treasure from her storage ring, a deep-sea fruit. "This is a deep-sea fruit I obtained decades ago when I came here. This fruit is extremely alluring to supreme-level sea beasts. It's perfect for seduction." Gu Qingcheng tossed the deep-sea fruit in front of her, a mischievous smile appearing on her beautiful face. The ripe, supreme-level deep-sea fruit immediately released a rich fragrance in the seawater, which drifted outwards like aged wine, instantly spreading over a radius of thousands of miles. Supreme-level sea beasts within a 3,000-mile radius of the three quickened their pace, rapidly approaching them. The closest deep-sea crocodile, its scarlet eyes fixed on the sea cucumber fruit, gleamed with desire. It glanced disdainfully at the three children, ignoring them, and charged directly towards the deep-sea fruit, its gaping maw, 500 meters in size, ready to swallow it whole. Xiao Ye felt a chill run down his spine, a 500-meter-long maw snapping at him. Any ordinary person would have fainted from fright. Ziran beamed, rubbing her hands together, and said, "Little crocodile, leave all those supreme realm sea beasts to me. Qingcheng, you just need to be the bodyguard and watch out for quasi-emperor realm sea beasts." Gu Qingcheng nodded, indicating that there was no problem. A layer of rule power armor condensed on Ziran's body, and she charged up, plunging headfirst into the mouth of the deep-sea crocodile. Splash! Her figure disappeared. The deep-sea crocodile smacked its lips, as if a fly had gotten inside, but it didn't matter. It ignored Xiao Ye and Gu Qingcheng, then opened its mouth, wanting to swallow the deep-sea fruit that was right in front of it. But just then, PFFT. A soft, squelching sound rang out, and the deep-sea crocodile's scarlet eyes almost popped out as it spat out a mouthful of black blood. It felt an excruciating pain coming from its body, as if its internal organs were being torn apart and destroyed. Roar! Then, A hole burst open in the heart of the deep-sea crocodile, and Ziran, clad in armor formed from the power of rules, emerged and returned to Xiao Ye, her body upright, her long dress billowing. Done. Ziran clapped her hands and said with a smile. The deep-sea crocodile rolled its eyes, its life force rapidly draining away, and its massive body plummeted straight into the deep sea. Ziran waved her hand, and a force dragged the recently deceased deep-sea crocodile into her storage space, laughing, a supreme-grade crystal core obtained. Looking at the alluring Ziran before him, Xiao Ye couldn't reconcile her with the wild, beast-like woman of desire from yesterday. Gu Qingchang warned, 12 deep-sea behemoths are approaching, within 10 miles of us. 5 are low-level Supreme Realm beasts, 4 are mid-level Supreme Realm beasts, 6 are high-level Supreme Realm beasts, and 2 are at the peak of the Supreme Realm. Ziran, prepare for battle. Ziran stretched her limbs, and under the astonished gazes of the two, she removed her purple dress, leaving only 2 lace lingerie pieces, revealing her fair, slender, and newly matured body. Facing their surprise, she laughed, this dress is a bit cumbersome in the water. Anyway, there are no men here, so I'll just treat it as swimming fun. Qingcheng, you take yours off too. There are no men here, so don't worry about revealing anything. Swimming in the deep sea, surrounded by Supreme Realm deep-sea behemoths at a depth of 10,000 meters? Only Ziran could say that so casually. As they spoke, the first wave of deep-sea behemoths had already reached the 3 of them, each one enormous, swimming towards them in the pitch-black depths. I need to stretch my legs. Qingcheng, Xiao Ye is in your hands now. If he loses a single hair, I'll never forgive you. Ziran, clad in her armor of rules, charged forward. Her small, newly grown body fearlessly met more than 10 deep-sea behemoths. She charged headlong, seemingly the hardest being in the world, effortlessly piercing through each Supreme Realm behemoth from head to tail. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 deep-sea behemoths were easily killed by Ziran. On Gu Qingcheng's side, Xiao Ye's eyes suddenly widened, his gaze instinctively falling on her delicate body. She had actually taken off her long white robe, leaving only 2 small pieces of underwear. A bikini. Xiao Ye was stunned. An explosive figure, devilish curves, and a pair of long, white, tender legs that seemed longer than life itself, everything was assaulting his eyes. Her breasts were incredibly large, almost leaping out, trying to break free of the bikini top. Her buttocks were even more pert, as if a cup placed on them wouldn't fall over. An explosive figure, comparable to Yunzai. But their temperaments were different, giving them distinct auras. One was a domineering empress, the other a cool and aloof goddess. Their presence was completely different. Gulp. Xiao Ye swallowed hard, struggling to look away, her eyes instantly clearing. Gu Qingcheng's melodious voice rang out, Xiao Ye, you've had your period too, haven't you? In the deep sea, wearing clothes is really uncomfortable. This man wasn't staring at her like a lecherous ghost, his eyes were very clear, which pleased Gu Qingcheng. Chapter 443 Xiao Ye in a swimsuit, the Empress is stunned. Xiao Ye looked utterly bewildered. No, you guys really treat the deep sea like a swimming pool? Me too? Do as you please. Gu Qingcheng glanced at him, then swam around Xiao Ye, her long, slender, white arms and legs moving with effortless grace. In the depths of 10,000 meters, she moved as easily as if she were in 2 meters. She felt a sudden weight on her shoulders, looked down, and saw her magnificent breasts, but not her toes. Gu Qingcheng kicked off her shoes, revealing her 2 delicate, white feet, her tiny, sparkling toes gleaming like popping candy. Anyway, there are no men here, so Ziran and I don't have to worry about being seen by men. It looks dark here, but the water quality is excellent. She swam around Xiao Ye without restraint, tracing graceful arcs in the deep water. Xiao Ye's lips twitched. He wasn't a man? You must be mistaken, there are no other men here. It's not that there aren't men. However, the Hangzhou Empress's figure was truly stunning. While her long white robes subtly revealed her devilish curves, now, clad only in a bikini, she was a sight to behold, becoming the most beautiful spectacle underwater. Even Xiao Ye, who had seen countless beauties, couldn't help but glance at her. Wearing only underwear in front of a man for the first time, Gu Qingcheng's exquisite face showed no outward sign of discomfort, but she felt a little awkward and shy inside. However, remembering what Gu Qingcheng had told her in the future, that she and Xiao Ye would inevitably be together, becoming husband and wife, and forging a contract, she felt less resistant. Under the influence of the future Gu Qingcheng, she had unconsciously begun to accept, deep down, that Xiao Ye was her future husband. She just hadn't clearly realized this realization. If she were in front of other men, let alone wearing only a bikini, even in a white robe, if those men looked at her too much, she would fly into rage and want to gouge out their eyeballs. In her spiritual sea, Gu Qingcheng gave a thumbs up, praising, "Little Gu, you're really something. You actually came up with this method to seduce my husband, brilliant." Then, she looked somewhat annoyed, her face showing regret. "Back when my husband, Ziren, and I were obtaining crystal cores here, I strongly criticized Ziren, making her wear a skirt. I myself kept a cold face the whole time. I ruined a perfectly good opportunity. If it weren't for the unexpected crisis later, and me helping my husband so much, he might dislike me even more." Gu Qingcheng, upon hearing this, was speechless, saying, "You're just too stubborn. Xiao Ye is Ziren's husband, he couldn't possibly have feelings for me. Wearing underwear for a swim isn't going to hurt you. When did I seduce Xiao Ye? That's not true." Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. Fine, you're mocking me now, aren't you? You even called me stubborn. If it weren't for my suggestion and assistance, would you have accepted Xiao Ye now? Would you have let your guard down around him? If it weren't for me, you would be doing exactly the same thing I did back then." Gu Qingcheng's expression froze, as if what her future self had said was true. She had now completely accepted Xiao Ye, lowered her guard against him, and no longer resisted his presence. Subconsciously, she had already accepted him. The divine soul Gu Qingcheng suddenly licked her rosy lips, her beautiful eyes shining with a hungry gaze, and said, "Little Gu, quickly give your husband some psychological counseling, make him take his clothes off too. I haven't seen my husband's 8-pack abs in a long time. I've done so much for you, can you fulfill my little wish, okay?" Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched. Her future self had not only been seduced into a sly woman, but was also a lustful one. Hurry, I can't wait any longer." A few crystal drops of water dripped from the corner of the divine soul Gu Qingcheng's mouth. She kept swallowing, her beautiful eyes releasing a captivating light like a hungry wolf that had been starving for a long time. Gu Qingcheng said helplessly, "All right, I'll give it a try, but don't blame me if Xiao Ye doesn't want to swim." She did a deep sea backflip, tracing a graceful arc in the water, and jumped in front of Xiao Ye, crossing her arms over her chest. A smile appeared on her pretty face as she said, "What, even we two women don't have so many concerns, and you, a grown man, are afraid of being seen? There are no lecherous women or hungry wolves here, you don't need to worry about being taken advantage of." Xiao Ye looked at the peerless, independent bikini-clad Hangzhou Empress in front of him, shrugged, and said, "Sister Qingcheng, since you've said so, it would be pretentious for a grown man like me to refuse any longer." Out of the corner of his eye, Gu Qingcheng's long legs were glowing white, her skin was supple and tender, as if it were about to drip water, very eye-catching. He was fighting against his inner demons, trying to keep himself from looking like a pig. Xiao Ye took off his outer clothes, leaving only a pair of shorts. His strong body was revealed. His muscles were solid, and his 8-pack abs were arranged like ribs. He looked slim in clothes, but muscular underneath. He exuded a powerful, rugged masculinity. He struck several workout poses, his arm muscles bulging, his 8-pack abs perfectly displayed, combined with his handsome face that seemed to have descended from heaven, radiating endless masculine charm. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. Ah, is this really a physique only a man can possess? The male leads in those adult films were all greasy, obese men with terrible physiques. Compared to Xiao Ye, they were simply unbearable to look at. This was the first time she had seen a man's physique in real life, and she never expected Xiao Ye's body to be so perfect, seemingly without flaws, like a meticulously crafted work of art, without the slightest imperfection or flaw. Especially that overwhelming masculine aura, which greatly shocked her. "Sister Qingcheng, are you daydreaming?" He was a little surprised that Gu Qingcheng was staring at his body, lost in thought. The Empress of Hangzhou, actually daydreaming? Gu Qingcheng jolted awake, a blush rising on her beautiful face as she shyly looked away. "I was thinking about some matters in Hangzhou, whether my subordinates could handle them properly." Her heart pounded, this was the first time she'd lied to a man. Xiao Ye nodded, believing her. This was the Empress of Hangzhou, how could she possibly be distracted by a man? Impossible. Gu Qingcheng was incredibly excited, swallowing hard. My husband was so handsome when he was young. Ah, if only I could touch him. Little Gu, don't be shy. The man standing in front of you is your destined husband. Look if you want. Are you tempted? Caught off guard, Gu Qingcheng's face flushed slightly. She mentally replied, I don't want to look. Old Gu. Are you satisfied now? Tell me how to break my cultivation stagnation. The divine Gu Qingcheng chuckled. Little fish licked its lips and said, You're getting shy now? I don't know if you're tempted, but I am. Little Gu, let me take over control of this body. I'll find an excuse to touch my husband's 8-pack abs, how about that? If I'm satisfied, I'll tell you how to break my cultivation stagnation. Chapter 444 The future empress takes over the body. Gu Qingcheng hesitated for a moment, then said, No, Xiao Ye is my future husband, not my current one. Touching his 8-pack abs is going too far. He's Ziran's husband now. What will I say if Ziran sees this? Old Gu, you're so thirsty, like a hungry wolf. The divine soul Gu Qingcheng snorted, so what if I'm a hungry wolf? So what if I'm thirsty? I've been guarding this empty room for nearly 100 years, unable to find satisfaction, unable to release my pent-up desires. Now that I have a chance to get close to my husband, of course I have to seize the opportunity. Gu Qingcheng said helplessly, Old Gu, can't you just hold back a little longer? The divine soul Gu Qingcheng said impatiently, I can't hold back, not even for a second. Don't worry, I'll create an unexpected situation, find a legitimate reason, and guarantee that slut Ziran won't accuse you of this. Hey, do you still want to improve your cultivation level? Gu Qingcheng hesitated for a moment, then made up her mind, okay. But don't do anything too outrageous, otherwise I can stop at any time and take back control of my body. The body was hers, she could relinquish control, but also reclaim it at any time. Although the future Gu Qingcheng's soul was compatible with her body, it was only a wisp, and in a struggle, it wouldn't be able to defeat her, the original owner. The soul Gu Qingcheng jumped up excitedly, rubbing her hands together in a lewd manner, overjoyed. Quick, I can't wait, I want to touch my husband, she urged. Gu Qingcheng immediately released control of the body, letting her take over. Beside her, Xiao Ye, seeing Gu Qingcheng's gaze constantly wandering elsewhere, assumed she was contacting her subordinates in the Hangzhou base city and didn't disturb her. But Gu Qingcheng's alluring body was truly amazing, and he subtly admired her from the corner of his eye. In this dark, lightless deep sea, to have such a view filled him with delight. In the distance, Ziran, having collected the second wave of Supreme Realm Deep Sea Behemoth corpses, awaited the arrival of the third wave of Supreme Realm Sea Beasts. The third wave of Sea Beasts was also Supreme Realm, numbering about 20. Some powerful Sea Beasts, hearing the commotion, rushed over. Seeing the Supreme Realm Sea Beasts being slaughtered, they quickly fled, wishing they had extra legs to escape faster. These Supreme Realm Sea Beasts, relying on their status and numbers, headed towards Ziran, or more precisely, towards the Supreme Realm Deep Sea Fruit behind her. Ziran, a Saint Realm expert, was separated from the Supreme Realm by an insurmountable natural chasm. She floated gracefully in the sea, watching the approaching deep sea behemoths with a relaxed expression, showing no fear. They're here. Her arm of rules was invisible, only perceptible through divine sense. From Xiao Ye's perspective, all he could see was a slender, white body clad only in 2 small undergarments. Whoosh! Ziran launched herself like a missile, moving at an incredible speed, invisible to the naked eye. Xiao Ye withdrew his gaze and was startled by the blatant stare of the Hangzhou Empress before him. He covered his chest with both hands, took a few steps back, and exclaimed in surprise, Sister Qingcheng, what are you trying to do? Wasn't the Empress of Hangzhou thinking about the affairs of the Hangzhou base city? Why were her eyes fixed on his body, and her hands even reaching out as if she wanted to touch him? Was this still the domineering and powerful Empress of Hangzhou? She looked like a widow who hadn't been satisfied by a man. Ahem. At this moment, it was the future Gu Qingcheng who was controlling the body. She awkwardly withdrew her hands and put them behind her back, hiding the greedy look in her beautiful eyes, and her expression returned to normal. I wanted to test the water pressure around you, to see if it would hurt you. Xiao Ye was stunned for a moment, then realized, it's okay, Sister Qingcheng. With your power supporting me, the water pressure here won't affect me at all. Even if I did it myself, I wouldn't be affected in the slightest. He knew it. How could the Empress of Hangzhou be a lecherous woman who wanted to touch him like she had never touched a man before? She just wanted to test the water pressure around him. In her current mental state, Gu Qingcheng's face was as black as charcoal, her chest heaving with rage. Old Gu, watch your expression. You now represent the Empress of Hangzhou. Please restrain your restlessness and lust, okay? The Empress of Hangzhou, would never show that pig-like appearance, it's too lewd. The future Gu Qingcheng, controlling your body, replied, okay. The future Gu Qingcheng looked at Xiao Ye, a complex expression on her face, a hint of resentment in her beautiful eyes. HMPH, it was this man who had captivated her, making her yearn for him day and night. Over the past century, she had explicitly and implicitly hinted dozens of times that this man should come to her room for some exercise, but he had always ignored her. After thinking for a moment, future Gu Qingcheng withdrew the power binding Xiao Ye and subconsciously asked, "Husband, you should be able to handle this water depth easily, right?" Xiao Ye replied, "I haven't tried, but I should be able to." Then, he realized something was wrong and asked in surprise, "Sister Qingcheng, what did you call me? Husband?" "Sister Qingcheng, I'm Ziren's husband, not your husband." "Huh?" Future Gu Qingcheng was stunned. "Oh dear, you misheard, Xiao Ye, I just called you Xiao Ye." Xiao Ye scratched his head in confusion. "Did I hear wrong?" Future Gu Qingcheng stared at him, her eyes wide with delight. So cute, her husband actually had such a cute side. "Yes, sir, Xiao Ye, you misheard." She waved her hand, withdrawing the power she had been holding onto Xiao Ye, and said, "Xiao Ye, try it and see if you can move freely in this water pressure." Gu Qingcheng's face darkened again in her mental sea. This old Gu is so careless. HMPH, no wonder she's been guarding an empty room for 100 years, her brain has gone mad. Old Gu, Xiao Ye is only at the great venerable realm. The water pressure here is much greater than on Blue Star. 10,000 meters deep, the pressure of the seawater, he won't be able to withstand it, she hurriedly reminded him. She would feel terrible if something happened to Ziren's husband in front of her. Future Gu Qingcheng smiled and replied in her mind, "It's alright, I know my husband." Xiao Ye, his protective power removed, immediately felt unprecedented pressure. His aura as a second-tier great venerable erupted, releasing the pressure of 10,000 tons of water, finally making him feel relieved. Water element control, as the name suggests, you are the king of the water, controlling all water elements in the world. His innate skill activated, and the surrounding seawater became gentle and active, as if it had found its father. Xiao Ye withdrew his great venerable realm power, able to breathe freely in the seawater, like a fish returning to the ocean, feeling the seawater around him become familiar. He casually waved his hand, and the seawater around him automatically dispersed. The future Gu Qingcheng watched with a smile, seemingly familiar with the scene, showing no surprise whatsoever. However, the Gu Qingcheng in her spiritual sea was utterly astonished, exclaiming in shock, he actually has this level of control over water attributes. He's even more powerful than those water attribute supreme beings. The future Gu Qingcheng laughed, "My husband has complete control over all 5 elements. Stop with that country bumpkin look, okay?" Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched, "You're the country bumpkin. Your whole family are country bumpkins." The future Gu Qingcheng chuckled, "You've got the wrong person. Are you sure you want to call my whole family country bumpkins?" Gu Qingcheng's expression froze, somewhat embarrassed. Calling old Gu's whole family country bumpkins was the same as calling her own family country bumpkins. HMPH, I can't be bothered with you. Your husband is right not to pay attention to you, you're too infuriating. The future Gu Qingcheng frowned. Suddenly, the battle between Ziren and the supreme-level sea beast approached from afar. The aftershocks of the supreme-level battle rippled in, and the seawater churned. In the future, Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes lit up. She was suddenly pushed along by the surging waves. "Ouch, Xiao Ye, be careful." She was pushed by the seawater, pressing herself against Xiao Ye, holding his head to her chest, and being pushed forward by the pressure of hundreds of thousands of tons of water. Xiao Ye felt a sudden darkness before his eyes, his face pressed against something soft, buried like 2 mountains, unable to pull away. Chapter 445 Gu Qingcheng, who takes advantage of Xiao Ye in the future. Not only that, but there was also an extremely rich and refreshing fragrance that filled his nostrils. Was this Sister Qingcheng's body scent? Xiao Ye found it very pleasant and subconsciously took several deep breaths. His entire face was pressed against that fair and tender skin, and he could feel its softness and suppleness. Boom! Future Gu Qingcheng, holding Xiao Ye's head and pressed against him, was swept 20,000 meters away by the pressure of hundreds of thousands of tons of water. That was close. Xiao Ye, are you alright? She held Xiao Ye's head tightly, looking down at his flowing, elegant hair, and asked. Ugh. Xiao Ye's head was forced into the giant mountain, and he couldn't speak at all, only making muffled ugh sounds. Oh dear, I'm sorry. A mischievous smile appeared on future Gu Qingcheng's beautiful face, and the corners of her rosy lips curled up slightly. Gu Qingcheng. In her mental sea, her body's sensations were synchronized, and she could feel it. Old Gu, you wanted to touch my 8-pack abs, and you've dragged me into this? You're ruining my innocence. He's taking advantage of me. Let him go right now. Gu Qingcheng said, her pretty face flushed. Future Gu Qingcheng replied, he's our husband. It's only natural for a husband to take advantage of you. What's the rush? Are you saying someone else is going to take advantage of you? Really, it's just a small advantage, don't be so petty. Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. She was the one being petty after being taken advantage of by a man? Xiao Ye was her future husband, not her current husband. Future Gu Qingcheng smiled, I'll try to find a way to reduce her husband's current resistance to you. Don't say anything, just watch me. Hearing this, Gu Qingcheng had a vague sense of foreboding. This old Gu really didn't treat her like a virgin, he was capable of any outrageous thing. Xiao Ye was being held tightly, trying to struggle and pull his head out. 10 minutes later, after the aftershocks of the battle between the supreme sea beasts subsided, Gu Qingcheng finally released Xiao Ye. A smile appeared in her eyes, and she parted her red lips slightly. I released my protective power over you. In this emergency, this was the only way I could protect you. Thank you, Sister Qingcheng. Xiao Ye touched his face, which still retained a faint fragrance. He stared blankly at Gu Qingcheng, feeling that her temperament had changed at this moment. She had become more mature and charming, and her tone had become more intimate. Every move she made unintentionally exuded the allure of her graceful figure. Xiao Ye found it strange. This Empress of Hangzhou seemed like a different person. The way she looked at him subtly revealed a strong possessiveness and a hint of resentment. It was as if he had let this Empress of Hangzhou down. Ziren is fighting fiercely, it's a very exciting battle. Let's go back and watch. It'll give you more combat experience, which will be good for you. A sly glint flashed in Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes as she reached out her slender hand and grasped Xiao Ye's rough hand, instantly returning to the battlefield. At this moment, the fair-skinned Ziren, clad in a small undergarment, exuded an intense aura from her invisible rule-based armor. Her small stature was engaged in battle with a 3,000-meter-tall deep-sea behemoth. One person, fighting 15 deep-sea behemoths. There were 20 before, now only 15 remained. The other 5 had already been killed, their corpses stored in Ziren's storage ring. The purpose of killing the Supreme Realm Sea Beasts was to obtain Supreme Realm Crystal Cores, not rule fragments, so Xiao Ye didn't need to intervene. Ziren looked back and saw Xiao Ye unharmed, protected by Gu Qingcheng. She smiled sweetly, then turned back to fight the 15 Supreme Realm Sea Beasts. The Supreme Realm Sea Beasts realized that Ziren's cultivation level was very high, and that killing them was as easy as slaughtering dogs, so they all tried to escape. Taoist energy swirled around their massive bodies, and they let out terrifying roars. Ziren wouldn't give them a chance to escape. A Saint Realm cultivator dealing with a Supreme Realm expert didn't even need to use innate skills, she simply charged at the sea beasts with a brutal force, Deep Sea Tornado, Visual Shield, Diamond Body, Rampage. The deep sea beasts activated their innate skills, instantly creating a raging water tornado tens of thousands of meters wide on the battlefield, sending the beasts fleeing in all directions. After casually killing one beast, Ziren charged towards the next. The deep sea tornado swept in, carrying the pressure of millions of tons of seawater. Xiao Ye's expression changed. With his current cultivation level, he couldn't easily handle this level of sea pressure. Future Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes lit up, thinking, a good opportunity. Xiao Ye was taken aback. Why was Sister Qingcheng hugging him again, pressing her whole body against him? Future Gu Qingcheng pressed herself against him, her delicate right hand around Xiao Ye's waist, and smiled. Xiao Ye, don't be afraid, I'm here, you'll be alright. The seawater whirlwind swept in, Xiao Ye's hair fluttering, feeling no pressure at all. But he felt a softness and comfort beside him. He also felt something tickling his abs. He looked down, his face filled with astonishment. A slender, fair hand, after encircling his waist, had 10 long, slender fingers with long nails constantly making little movements, touching his 8-pack abs. Looking up again, he saw the Empress of Hangzhou standing to the side, her face indifferent, her gaze fixed on the battlefield, as if it wasn't her doing the little trick. Xiao Ye placed his hand on the mischievous little hand, gripped it tightly, and exclaimed in surprise, "Sister Qingcheng, what are you doing? Taking advantage of me?" The future Gu Qingcheng's pretty face remained calm, feigning ignorance, and said, "What? Xiao Ye, what did you say? Who dared to take advantage of you?" Xiao Ye's lips twitched. Had this Hangzhou Empress never touched a man before? In her mental sea, Gu Qingcheng's pretty face flushed red. The feel of that hand was exquisite. She could sense the sensations in Gu Qingcheng's body simultaneously. Gu Qingcheng said somewhat awkwardly, "Old Gu, if you want to touch me, you need to find a reason. This kind of put on your pants and leave, this kind of heartless behavior, is too embarrassing for me, Gu Qingcheng." Future Gu Qingcheng nodded, winked at Xiao Ye, and said, "Sorry, after being a virgin for 1,500 years, this is the first time I've been so close to a man. I couldn't help but touch him. I didn't mean to. Xiao Ye, can you let me touch you a little longer?" Xiao Ye opened his mouth, his face extremely shocked. Did the Empress of Hangzhou mean he wanted a man? "Sister Qingcheng, this isn't appropriate, isn't it? I'm Ziran's husband." Future Gu Qingcheng said regretfully, "Oh, never mind then. Wait, is that disappointed look on your face real?" Xiao Ye was stunned. In the distance, the sea beasts scattered, about to leave the area. Ziran immediately took countermeasures. Devouring domain transforms the battlefield into domain, sealing off enemies. Within the domain, the effects of devouring type talent skills are increased by 1000%. Centered on Ziran, a pitch-black domain spanning tens of thousands of miles instantly unfolded, enveloping all the fleeing sea beasts. The sea beasts crashed into the domain's boundaries, only to find themselves dizzy from the impact, while the domain's boundaries remained as solid as a mountain, showing no sign of wavering. Roar. The sea beasts communicated in secret. "Fighter. We outnumber her, let's hide her and take her down in one fell swoop." In a short time, these sea beasts reached a consensus and attacked Ziran. Ziran smiled slightly, her expression calm and fearless. Boom. Several loud explosions rang out. The battle power of the Supreme Realm experts on the scene erupted, reaching its peak. The aftershocks of the battle spread towards Xiao Ye and his companion. Future Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes lit up again, her gaze lingering on Xiao Ye's well-defined lips beneath his slight beard, and she swallowed hard. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 446 The Future Empress with a series of maneuvers. Upon seeing the body's vision, Gu Qingcheng had a bad feeling and exclaimed in surprise, "Old Gu, you're not planning to force a kiss, are you? You nagging woman, you can't give away my first kiss." "I've never kissed a man before," she said anxiously. Future Gu Qingcheng immediately admitted, "Yes, I do want to force a kiss." "Hey, what's the rush? This is her husband, what's wrong with kissing him? Right now, I'm in control of the body, so it's my kiss. It doesn't count as your first kiss. Later, when you control the body, that's when it will be your first kiss." Gu Qingcheng thought about it and it seemed to make sense, so she said, "But kissing him is different from touching his abs? How are you going to explain that?" Future Gu Qingcheng, seeing that she had misled and brainwashed her younger brother, chuckled, "Explain? Why explain? Just don't let him find out." Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched. "Don't let him find out? Sneak a kiss? Xiao Ye would definitely feel something when he was kissed. How could he possibly kiss her?" The raging aftershocks of the Supreme Realm battle swept over, and future Gu Qingcheng smiled in her mind, thinking, a good opportunity. The Supreme Level, Visual Shield, Shield's vision and divine sense detection, an area of effect talent skill, had an influence range of tens of thousands of meters. In that instant, Xiao Ye, only a second-tier great venerable, was hit. In a flash, everything went black, His eyes were plunged into infinite darkness. His star-like black eyes were open, but he couldn't see any light or scenery. Future Gu Qingcheng didn't remove the visual shield for Xiao Ye. Instead, following the aftershocks of the battle, she pressed herself against him again, pouting her rosy lips and kissing him. So moist, so cool, it has a sweet and fragrant taste. What's going on? Xiao Ye's mouth was covered. Feeling the sensation, endless doubts arose in his heart, and he couldn't speak, only able to speculate wildly. Then, he felt his body being embraced, two soft bodies pressing against him, his waist being held. She could feel the softness and smoothness of the skin before her. In the future, Gu Qingcheng's rosy lips sealed Xiao Ye's, her exquisite face displaying a look of pleasure and ecstasy, completely immersed in the moment. She was incredibly excited. How long had it been since she'd kissed her husband? Decades, perhaps. In the past 100 years, she had transformed from a naive empress into a mature and elegant one, yet her practical experience in this area was extremely limited. Although she had watched many adult films, her mind was filled with theory, but she couldn't apply it. In her mind, Gu Qingcheng felt the simultaneous touch of his lips on her body, and her heart surged. Was this the taste of a man? It was the first time she had experienced such a unique and special sensation. Her heart was filled with ripples. In her vision, Xiao Ye's handsome face, like a celestial being descended to earth, had his sword-like eyebrows trembling slightly. It was the first time she had seen a man so closely. Suddenly, Gu Qingcheng sensed something, her face stiffening. "Old Gu, why are you sticking my tongue out?" she asked. "You wouldn't be thinking of—" Her beautiful eyes widened, and she cried out urgently, "No, absolutely not. I've already made a huge sacrifice. Just take a small bite, don't go too far. You're satisfied, but I'm the one who sacrificed it, my innocence is ruined." Future Gu Qingcheng paused, stopping her tongue-out gesture, and replied with some disappointment, "All right then, going straight to the stomach is a bit too hasty. You have to eat one bite at a time, walk one step at a time." And so, following the aftershocks of the Supreme Realm battle, future Gu Qingcheng embraced Xiao Ye, kissing him, and was pushed 50,000 meters away by the sea. Feeling it was enough, she separated her lips from Xiao Ye's, licked her lips with her tongue, somewhat unsatisfied. Looking at Xiao Ye's handsome face, she inexplicably leaned in again and kissed him on the cheek. "I kissed your right cheek, it feels a little awkward." Then, she gave Xiao Ye a quick peck on his left cheek. A complete female hooligan. Gu Qingcheng, watching from within her mental world, darkened her face. "You've really been keeping a low profile for too long, giving away my first kiss, and then the second and third. Old Gu, you're really something. Luckily, there's no one else here, otherwise, you would have completely disgraced the Empress of Hangzhou." "What kind of talk is that? The Empress of Hangzhou is that kind of sexually frustrated woman?" The future Gu Qingcheng chuckled. "You're not a woman, but I am." Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched. "You are me, and I am you. You're a woman, so you're saying I am?" A strange look appeared on Xiao Ye's face. Why did he feel someone kiss him several times, not just on the lips, but also on the cheek? Judging from the two soft mounds emanating from him, the person embracing him must be Empress Gu Qingcheng of Hangzhou, not Ziran. Ziran isn't that impressive yet. The person kissing him was the Empress of Hangzhou? But that's impossible. How could a domineering and powerful woman like the Empress of Hangzhou do something so underhanded? What secret does the Empress of Hangzhou hold? Xiao Ye shook his head. Something must have stuck to his face just now. There are many strange things in the deep sea, many soft, moist, and cool little things. It's probably one of those things that accidentally stuck to his lips and cheeks due to the aftershocks of the battle at the Supreme Realm. Yes, that's the only possibility. Ugh. Xiao Ye suddenly widened his eyes. He felt something being kneaded below. It felt like a small hand was pinching him. What was happening? Could some small creature have stuck to his lower body again? Xiao Ye hurriedly spoke up. "Sister Qingcheng, can you help me break the visual shield? This place is so strange." The visual shield of a Supreme Realm expert is much less effective on him than on an ordinary person, and its duration is also much shorter, but it can still last for several tens of minutes. If an ordinary Great Venerable Realm expert were hit by a Supreme Realm visual shield talent skill, they would probably be without sight for 2 or 3 months, and their divine sense would also lose its probing ability. Gu Qingcheng, in her mental sea, stared in astonishment as her future Gu Qingcheng controlled her body, reaching out her small hand to knead her lower body, exclaiming in shock, "No, old Gu, you're thirsty too. Is that something you can move? Hurry up and help Xiao Ye break the visual shield, or things will get complicated." Xiao Ye isn't brainless. After all this, he'll definitely figure it out. The future Gu Qingcheng shook her head, cackling, "I haven't had enough yet." Gu Qingcheng was completely bewildered. She hadn't even had enough? The future Gu Qingcheng laughed, "It's alright. I have a trick up my sleeve." She casually reached out and caught a small starfish that had swept past, chuckling, "We didn't do anything just now, it was this little starfish that caused the trouble." Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched, and she exclaimed, "As expected of my future self, she can even come up with such a cunning method." Then, the future Gu Qingcheng, controlling the Empress's body, reached out her small hand and pinched that spot twice. Xiao Ye's eyes widened, but he couldn't see anything. He hurriedly covered himself with his hands, his body arching like a shrimp. Chapter 447 The Supreme Sea Beast Descends, a Quasi-Emperor Realm Empress. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. "No, you actually did it? You're so bold." Future Gu Qingcheng snorted. "Tell me, does it feel good or not?" Gu Qingcheng's pretty face flushed. It felt good, and she felt it too. "You can't do this anymore, or I'll take back control of your body." Knowing old Gu as she did, if she didn't stop him, this perverted old Gu might do something even more outrageous. It felt good, but she wouldn't say it. Future Gu Qingcheng felt it was about time. She stuck the little starfish to Xiao Ye's body, took a step back, and released Xiao Ye. With a wave of her hand, she removed the visual shield that Xiao Ye had been hit with. In an instant, Xiao Ye's vision returned, and he saw the Empress of Hangzhou smiling at him. He hurriedly looked down and saw a little starfish stuck to his body. So that's what it is. Xiao Ye was a little angry and hurriedly threw the little starfish away. This little starfish was too bad, kissing and touching him. The aftershocks of the battle swept over, and the little starfish was swept back by the surging seawater, sticking to his abs. Xiao Ye. PFFT. Future Gu Qingcheng laughed, finding Xiao Ye's appearance inexplicably cute. This wave of battle aftershocks was the last one. Ziran ended the battle, collecting all 20 Supreme Realm corpses. Her long purple hair fluttered with the seawater as she floated in the dark water. After surveying her surroundings and finding no Supreme Realm sea beasts within a radius of 10,000 miles, she flashed to Xiao Ye's side. When she saw Xiao Ye's bewildered expression, Ziran's face lit up with a smile. She reached out and grabbed the little starfish, crushing it into powder with a squeeze of her hand. "It's just a little starfish, Xiao Ye, what's with that expression? It's not like you're constipated," Ziran said with a grin. Xiao Ye was somewhat annoyed. A smile appeared on Gu Qingcheng's pretty face as she said, "He probably thought I kissed him and touched him just now. But when he found out it was just a little starfish playing tricks, the psychological gap was too big." Gu Qingcheng's lips twitched. Could she really say that? Ziran patted Xiao Ye's shoulder and said, "It's just a little starfish, don't worry about it." Qingcheng kissed him? Impossible. While the three were chatting, undercurrents were already surging in the various sea areas of this water planet, comparable in size to Earth. All the sea areas and all the sea beast forces seemed to have received an order, rushing towards the location of Xiao Ye and his companions. Suddenly, Gu Qingcheng's expression changed drastically. A powerful enemy is coming. More than 2,000 saint-level beings, over 300 of them are saint-level perfected sea beasts, and not only that, there are quasi-emperor level beings. Early quasi-emperor level, mid quasi-emperor level, late quasi-emperor level beings, numbering in the hundreds. And a quasi-emperor level perfected deep-sea behemoth. She didn't release her saint-level perfected divine sense, but she could sense the powerful auras from all over the planet rapidly approaching her. Ziran and Xiao Ye's expressions changed as well. They've come to capture us? Could it be that this planet doesn't allow outsiders to enter? Future Gu Qingcheng nodded, her brows furrowed. Perhaps our battle was too loud, disturbing the supreme being of this planet. I can't handle this number of high-level deep-sea behemoths by myself. Xiao Ye quickly racked his brains. Let's escape quickly, back to Blue Star. Future Gu Qingcheng tried to push off with her hands, but the seawater space in front of her remained motionless. Her face darkened. The space on this planet is sealed off. We can't escape. I can use the talent skill of the destiny template to empower my future realm, but I can only empower it up to the late Quasi-Emperor realm. So many high-level deep-sea behemoths, especially those at the peak of the Quasi-Emperor realm, I can't handle them. I'm sorry, we're probably doomed. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have brought you here to obtain crystal cores. Xiao Ye and Ziran exchanged a glance, their faces grim. Could it be that they were really going to perish here? Gu Qingcheng, utterly perplexed in her mental sea, asked, Old Gu, didn't you go through this before? How did you escape this predicament back then? The future Gu Qingcheng frowned, finding it strange, and replied, Back then, only 3 early-stage Quasi-Emperor level deep-sea behemoths came to capture us. There weren't so many high-level sea beasts. Furthermore, there weren't any mid-stage, late-stage, or perfect-stage Quasi-Emperor level deep-sea behemoths here. Gu Qingcheng's expression froze. Then why is it like this now? The future Gu Qingcheng asked, puzzled, That's what I don't understand. Could it be that I traveled back and changed some things, creating a butterfly effect that led to this situation? Gu Qingcheng nodded. That's possible. Time travel is inherently an act that influences the world's operation. You change some things at our current stage, causing the supreme rules of this universe to be corrected. The future Gu Qingcheng shook her head, saying, You're oversimplifying me and the time-traveling treasure I use. Since I could travel back, I already understand it thoroughly. How could I not cause the world to reject me and trigger serious consequences? I haven't changed the current trend, so it's impossible for me to trigger a correction by the supreme rules of the universe. Do you know what the overall trend of the timeline in the starry sky is? Gu Qingcheng looked completely bewildered. What is it? The future Gu Qingcheng hummed in agreement. The overall trend of the starry sky is Xiao Ye's growth, and my husband's growth. As long as my husband doesn't die, the supreme rules of the universe in the starry sky won't interfere. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. In short, the overall trend of the timeline in the starry sky is Xiao Ye? The future Gu Qingcheng nodded. That's right. This is what the Supreme Time Emperor Mu Qingxia summarized. She, who has profound knowledge of the way of time, told us herself. I also received her guidance, which is why I was confident enough to travel back and change some details. Time Emperor? Supreme Ruler of the Universe? Gu Qingcheng was extremely shocked. She asked, puzzled, Then we're about to be surrounded and killed, doesn't that go against the general trend of the timeline? Future Gu Qingcheng laughed, Don't worry, my husband won't die. But Ziran and I, that's another story. Gu Qingcheng's face stiffened. Ziran and I will die, and you can still laugh? You really are a woman who's been hooked. Future Gu Qingcheng unleashed the aura of a perfected Saint Realm cultivator and used the talent skill, Future Realm Initiation, temporarily enhance your present self by borrowing the power of your future self. Her aura rose in layers. Perfected Saint Realm, Early Quasi-Emperor Realm. Mid Quasi-Emperor Realm, Late Quasi-Emperor Realm. 10 minutes later, the future Empress's realm had already reached the late Quasi-Emperor Realm. She stood resolutely in front of Xiao Ye and Ziran, her expression grave. You two go into the Bronze Palace. Leave this to me. Xiao Ye immediately took out a Bronze Palace, saying, The 3 of us will go in together. The Bronze Palace is at the peak of the Quasi-Emperor Realm. I refuse to believe these sea beasts can break through its defenses. Future Gu Qingcheng shook her head. It's useless. You two go in. Even if I die, I will fight with all my might to send you back to Blue Star. Chapter 448 Supreme Beast, Greetings, Matriarch. As she spoke, Gu Qingcheng's face was resolute, her beautiful eyes revealing a death wish. A blue portal projected from the Bronze Palace, and Ziran hurriedly pulled Xiao Ye inside, entering the palace in milliseconds. Inside the Bronze Palace, Ziran breathed a sigh of relief, saying, With Qingcheng's current level, she should be able to escape back to Blue Star if she fights desperately. You don't need to worry too much. Xiao Ye thought this made some sense, glancing at Ziran, only to see the extremely worried and anxious look on her pretty face. You tell me not to worry, but you're clenching your fists, your tension practically written all over your face. Outside, Gu Qingcheng's expression was solemn. Thousands of saint-level deep-sea behemoths had appeared all around her, above, below, left, and right. The eyes of these deep-sea behemoths were fixed on her, their massive bodies radiating an incomparably powerful aura, making the surrounding waters seem to groan in despair. In the future, Gu Qingcheng, standing at 1.8 meters tall, appeared minuscule compared to these sea beasts, each at least 5,000 meters long. However, the aura of a late-stage quasi-emperor realm expert emanating from her kept these deep-sea behemoths at least 1,000 meters away, not daring to take a single step forward. Boom! Gu Qingchang unleashed her full power, tearing open the space ahead. The space before her trembled violently, its restrictions shattering with a crackling sound. A look of joy appeared on her beautiful face as she continued to exert all her strength, breaking through the space ahead. But the shattered restrictions instantly returned to their original state. Gu Qingchang's expression changed. This is at least a quasi-emperor realm perfected treasure, creating a world-sealing restriction. It's very difficult to escape. Different treasures have different exclusive functions, some are defensive, some offensive, and some restrictive. The Bronze Palace is a treasure for capturing and trapping. Treasures of the same level have different functions and focuses. If subjected to continuous attacks from a quasi-emperor level sea beast, the Bronze Palace would inevitably be damaged and shattered into bronze fragments. At the same level, the Bronze Palace's defensive capabilities are certainly inferior to defensive treasures. Gu Qingchang didn't give up, continuing to unleash all her power, attempting to break through the world's restrictions and escape through space. Each attempt ended in failure. Outside her, quasi-emperor level deep-sea behemoths had already gathered. After dozens of attempts, despair filled Gu Qingchang's eyes in the future. She thought to herself, Qingchang, we're going to die. Do you have any regrets? Gu Qingchang was silent for a few seconds before saying, if I had the chance, I'd like to find a man and experience the taste of a man. To be honest, your kiss and touch gave me an unprecedented sense of novelty and pleasure. The feel was wonderful. Originally, I would never have said these words, but now if I don't, I'll never have the chance. Future Gu Qingchang smiled. Find a man? My husband? Knowing myself, your best choice, the man you want to find, is definitely Xiao Ye, right? Gu Qingchang blushed and didn't deny it. That's right. My best friends all married him, why can't I marry him? Future Gu Qingchang smiled happily. You've finally fully accepted my husband. It's a pity we might not have the chance. Gu Qingchang sighed. If I could do it all over again, I would definitely say, Xiao Ye, I want to be your beast girl. Future Gu Qingchang fell silent. Meanwhile, in the outside world, colossal deep-sea beasts at the mid-stage and late-stage quasi-emperor realms had appeared. Strangely, however, these high-level sea beasts stood tens of thousands of meters away from Gu Qingchang, not taking a single step forward. Yet, their massive bodies emanated boundless power, distorting the surrounding seawater and causing it to tremble and shake, as if weeping and lamenting. Ziran's anxious voice came from the Bronze Palace. Qingchang, why don't you take the Bronze Palace and escape to land or the sky, and see if you can break through the world's restrictions and escape through spatial rifts? Or use your current late-stage quasi-emperor realm power to leave here first, get away from these sea beasts. With their speed, they shouldn't be able to catch you. Even if a quasi-emperor realm peak deep-sea behemoth catches up, you'll be much more relaxed, without having to worry about sea beasts ambushing you from behind. Future Gu Qingchang shook her head and said, we've already been sealed off by quasi-emperor realm peak sea beasts. According to my estimation, there's a sealing barrier within 1,000 meters radius here, otherwise those Saint Realm sea beasts would have already crashed into us. Hearing this, Ziran and Xiao Ye inside the Bronze Palace fell silent. It seems this time, things are truly dire, and their fate is uncertain. But Xiao Ye was somewhat puzzled. He could usually foresee life or death crises in advance. With his time-related talent skill, he could sense future crises and foresee the scenes of danger. This time, however, he felt no sense of crisis whatsoever, and his innate ability to foresee the future wasn't passively activated. This meant that neither he nor his beast girl faced any crisis. But the current situation, from any perspective, was a life or death crisis. Over 2,000 saint-level beings, 200 quasi-emperor-level beings, and even a quasi-emperor-level perfected sea beast. This siege combined with the world's restrictions meant he and his beast girl were utterly unable to resolve their current predicament. Future Gu Qingchang suddenly asked, Xiao Ye, there are some things I must tell you. Xiao Ye was taken aback. What? Ziran was dumbfounded. Her best friend had something to say to Xiao Ye instead of her? Future Gu Qingchang asked, Xiao Ye, do you dislike me in your heart? Xiao Ye shook his head. No, since Sister Qingchang accepted me, I don't dislike her anymore. Future Gu Qingchang smiled and said, "That's good. But deep down, you still have some resistance towards me, right?" Xiao Ye was silent for 2 seconds. Resistance? Perhaps so. Deep down, he might still harbor a stereotype about the Empress of Hangzhou, subconsciously feeling that he couldn't get too close or delve too deeply into her. Future Gu Qingchang paused for a moment before saying, "Xiao Ye, please put aside your resistance towards me. I, Gu Qingchang, am just a normal woman, like Ziran, Xiao Bing, and Xiao Zai. You must accept what I give you, and I will definitely keep my promise to protect you. We are family." Ziran, upon hearing this, felt as if she were listening to her best friend's last words. Her beautiful eyes gradually reddened, and a sorrowful expression appeared on her face. Xiao Ye remained silent. The Empress of Hangzhou had gone this far, he couldn't remain silent. "Sister Qingcheng, I understand. From now on, I will treat you as one of my own, and I will no longer harbor any resistance towards you." Upon hearing this, future Gu Qingchang felt as if a 1,000-pound weight had been lifted from her shoulders, and a genuine joy appeared on her pretty face. "Good, with those words, I can die in peace." At this moment, a colossal beast at the peak of the Quasi-Emperor realm, its entire body shimmering with starlight, slowly approached from afar. All the deep-sea beasts surrounding Gu Qingchang within 1,000 meters showed reverence and awe in their eyes, making way for the starlight Quasi-Emperor Peak Beast to pass. The starlight-covered Quasi-Emperor Peak Beast walked past indifferently, traversing the 1,000-meter range in one step, and arrived before Gu Qingchang. Then, a shocking scene unfolded. It lowered its head, submitting before the future Gu Qingchang, its gaze becoming reverent, and respectfully said, "Your subordinate, Starlight, pays respects to mistress?" The future Gu Qingchang's expression turned solemn, and a look of astonishment appeared on her pretty face. Several question marks appeared above Gu Qingchang's head in her spiritual sea. Ziran was dumbfounded. Xiao Ye's expression also froze. "Ah, what's going on?" Chapter 449 Little girl, don't leave me this time. The colossal beast, its body radiating starlight, prostrated itself and respectfully spoke in human language again, "Greetings, mistress." Future Gu Qingchang pointed to herself, somewhat bewildered, "Mistress? Do we know each other?" The starlight beast nodded, "No mistake, you are my mistress." Future Gu Qingchang was dumbfounded. Mistress was a term used by concubines and servants to address their mistress. She couldn't recall ever taking in such a powerful beast. Then, the starlight beast's gaze fell upon the small bronze palace floating beside future Gu Qingchang, its eyes filled with fear and admiration, saying, "Greetings, master." Ziran exclaimed incredulously, "Xiao Ye, she called you master? She seems to know about the bronze palace, and she knows you're hiding there." Xiao Ye frowned deeply. What was going on? He had never encountered this super fierce beast before, its body radiating starlight, resembling a celestial being. The starlight behemoth swept its dark eyes around, a murderous aura flashing within them. Its previously concealed power was unleashed with a roar. "Roar! I told you to come and greet our lord and mistress. What kind of attitude is this? You better behave yourselves." That roar caused the more than 2,000 saint-level deep-sea behemoths and over 200 quasi-emperor-level sea beasts in the water to tremble. All of them simultaneously suppressed their ferocious aura, completely concealing it. Then, in unison, they shouted, "Greetings, mistress. Greetings, lord. Greetings, mistress. Greetings, lord." The sound was deafening, carrying for hundreds of thousands of miles, echoing throughout the entire planet. Future Gu Qingchang's pretty face froze. Mistress, lord, these were terms used by concubines and servants to address their mistress. Were all the deep-sea behemoths on this planet slaves to her and Xiao Ye? But the starlight behemoth, upon hearing the voices of all the deep-sea beasts, was enraged and roared, "These are my mistress and lord. You dare call yourselves servants to my lord and mistress? Call them young Master Ye, young Madam Gu." The deep-sea beasts seemed obedient, their voices immediately ringing out in unison, "Greetings, young Master Yi. Greetings, young Madam Gu." The sound carried for hundreds of thousands of miles, echoing throughout the entire planet. Upon hearing this, Gu Qingcheng, in the future, showed a look of surprise and delight on her beautiful face. "She actually called me young Madam Gu. How wonderful." The starlight beast nodded in satisfaction. "Very good. My lord, could you come out for a moment? Let these lads meet you, lest some sea beast loses its mind and offends you later. Inside the bronze hall, Xiao exclaimed in surprise, "She really knows you. Xiao Ye, should we go out? Could this be a scheme, trying to lure us out and then attack?" Xiao Ye shook his head. It shouldn't be any conspiracy. With the starlight beast's level and so many high-level sea beasts around, killing us would be easy. Why would she need a scheme? Since she invited us out, let's go out. Xiao Ye took Ziran's hand and, through the blue light gate, arrived beside the future Gu Qingcheng. The starlight beast's pupils contracted, and its entire prostrate posture lowered, its gaze filled with intense fear and undisguised worship. "My lord, it's wonderful to see you again. It's been 20,000 years, I've missed you terribly. This time, please don't abandon me. I've grown up and am capable of assisting you." Her tone was joyful and pleading. Ziran poked Xiao Ye's waist with her small hand and asked in a low voice, "Aren't you only 18? She said you've lived for 20,000 years. Xiao Ye, could it be that you are the reincarnation of an ancient great being?" Future Gu Qingcheng couldn't figure it out either, guessing to herself, could it be that my future husband has returned? But not to the present, but to some point in time 20,000 years ago? Why did he return from the future? Because that starlight beast just now called her its mistress, which means that the starlight beast knew that she, Gu Qingcheng, was Xiao Ye's beast mother. Future Gu Qingcheng felt that this was the only explanation, and this speculation was the most realistic. Xiao Ye frowned, looking at the starlight beast, and said, "Could you please remove these sea beasts first? They're an eyesore. After they leave, explain to us why you recognize us, and then I'll answer your questions." The starlight beast was overjoyed and quickly replied, "Yes, my lord." She raised her massive head and addressed the surrounding sea beasts, "You've all seen my lord. Remember this face. When you see him again, treat him as you would treat me, just as you would treat my lord and mistress. All right. Leaders of each race, stay. The rest may leave." Upon hearing this, the deep sea beasts all gave Xiao Ye, Gu Qingcheng, and Ziran several deep looks, as if trying to etch their images into their hearts. After looking at them, they concealed their aura and quietly retreated. Afterward, only 10 late-stage quasi-emperor-level deep sea beasts remained on the scene. These deep sea beasts hovered tens of thousands of meters away, concealing their aura and quietly awaiting the instructions of their supreme leader. Xiao Ye, Ziran, and future Gu Qingcheng breathed a sigh of relief. With so many deep-sea monsters gone, the pressure in their hearts lessened considerably. The three looked at the starlight beast, as if they were seeing a vast, mysterious sea of stars. The starlight beast's voice was incredibly beautiful, melodious and resonant, saying, "My lord, my mistress, don't you remember me?" Xiao Ye and future Gu Qingcheng shook their heads. "I've never seen you before." "I haven't seen you either." Xiao Ye said, "You've seen us?" The starlight beast's eyes darkened. Had their lord and mistress forgotten her? She explained, "I am Xiao Nanan. 20,000 years ago, you rescued me from the Starry Sky Imperial clan, raised me on this planet, and gave me Starry Sky cultivation methods and some resources. You gave me warmth and hope. If it weren't for you, I would have died long ago with the destruction of my clan. Back then, you said Xiao Nanan was too weak, a burden. Now Xiao Nanan has grown up and is a top expert in this small part of the Starry Sky. This time, don't abandon Xiao Nanan, okay?" Her eyes were filled with longing. Xiao Ye was somewhat bewildered. What was going on? He had rescued this starlight behemoth 20,000 years ago? He didn't remember. "Xiao Nanan? Are you sure you haven't mistaken me for someone else?" he asked. The starlight behemoth replied confidently, "No. Your name is Xiao Ye, and the young mistress's name is Gu Qingcheng. Xiao Nanan wouldn't mistake you for someone else." Xiao Ye scratched his head, completely puzzled. He even knew his own name. But why was she called Gu Qingcheng and addressed as young mistress? His relationship with Gu Qingcheng was completely innocent. Future Gu Qingcheng rolled her beautiful eyes thoughtfully and said, I understand what happened." Xiao Ye and Ziran's gazes focused on her. Future Gu Qingcheng confidently said, "Xiao Ye, most likely, in the future, you and I went back to the past, back to 20,000 years ago, did some things, either to save Xiao Nanan, or just happened to save her, and then returned to the future." Ziran and Xiao Ye suddenly understood. He and Mu Qingxun possessed time attributes. With their increased strength, being able to travel through time seemed plausible. Xiao Ye looked at the starlight beast, his lips twitching, and said, You want to join us? It's not quite right. Your body is too large, as massive as a mountain, tens of thousands of meters tall. The starlight beast's eyes lit up, and it said, "My lord, I am the starry sky beast, capable of changing form." Then, mystical light swirled around the starlight beast, and its enormous body vanished, replaced by a stunningly beautiful woman in a flowing, wide-sleeved fairy dress at the center of the light. Looking up, her bare feet were delicate and pink, followed by her voluptuous figure, which even the flowing fairy dress could barely conceal, and finally, her exquisitely beautiful face, which faintly exuded imperial might. Chapter 450, A Stunningly Beautiful Servant at the Perfect Quasi-Emperor Realm. Ziran and the future Gu Qingcheng were both stunned. This was too beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. In terms of looks, she was comparable to them in her own way. She looked almost indistinguishable from a human. A smile appeared on her face as she stepped forward with her delicate pink feet. Xiao Ye blocked her way, frowning. "Stand there, don't move." They were no longer in mortal danger, but this girl who called herself Little Nanan couldn't be completely trusted. "What's your name? What's your full name?" Xiao Ye asked. The beautiful woman paused, her smile freezing. Xiao Ye's resistance and aversion were palpable. "My name is Jiang Zunan, my lord. Whether it was you in the future or you in the past who saved me, I, Little Nanan, will accept it. If you don't believe me, I can sign a master-servant's contract with you and your mistress." Xiao Ye's eyes lit up. A master-servant contract? A contract with a quasi-emperor level perfect servant? He was tempted. Xiao Ye scratched his head, took a step forward, walked to the beautiful woman, raised his hand and pinched her smooth and fair face, her delicate nose, her pink and exquisite earlobes, and her rosy lips. "Tisk tisk. Jiang Zunan, your transformation is so realistic. It feels just like the real thing." Ziran's eyes widened, and she angrily kicked Xiao Ye, hands on her hips, saying, "Xiao Ye, watch your manners, don't get physical." Xiao Ye shrugged, seemingly unconcerned. "This is just a transformation. My true form is still a starry sky beast. Don't be jealous of her. Are you jealous of even a starry sky beast?" Jiang Zunan explained, "I am a starry sky beast, currently in my juvenile form. I've been awakened from my slumber for less than 100 years and possess a unique talent skill that allows me to change my physical appearance, called transformation. Yes, just like the fox spirit Daji's transformation that the lord and mistress mentioned before. After transformation, my physical characteristics are exactly the same as a human's, and my entire body is identical to a human woman's. I can give birth and have menstruation. If I had more time, the Emperor realm would just be the starting point." Xiao Ye's pupils constricted upon hearing this. So powerful? The Emperor realm is just the starting point, and she can even transform? Such a beautiful and promising maid, he was captivated, and even a little moved. Ziran suddenly spoke up, "Why do you call Gu Qingcheng young mistress? What about me?" Jiang Zunan's beautiful eyes flashed with confusion. "I've only seen the master and mistress, not you. 20,000 years ago, the master and mistress were very much in love. They were always holding hands, and they would kiss intimately from time to time. They even made me stand guard at the door at night so you could have your intimate moments." Ziran and Gu Qingcheng in her spiritual sea were greatly shocked. Xiao Ye's head was filled with question marks. Me and the Empress of Hangzhou were very much in love? Me and the Empress of Hangzhou had intimate moments? How could that be? Upon hearing this, the future Gu Qingcheng's pretty face lit up with genuine joy, beaming with delight. It seemed that her time travel had indeed changed some details, making the future Xiao Ye no longer dislike her, and even deeply fond of her. The future Gu Qingcheng felt very satisfied. In her mental sea, Gu Qingcheng's beautiful face held a complex expression. I, and Xiao Ye, are destined to be together. She deeply understood this. Perhaps, starting today, I should try to get to know Xiao Ye better. The future Gu Qingcheng gloated. Didn't you say you wanted to tell Xiao Ye you wanted to be his beast girl? Gu Qingcheng blushed, embarrassed. That was something I planned to say on my deathbed. Now that I'm not dying, why would I be so extreme? I'm not very familiar with Xiao Ye yet, so I'll get to know my future husband first. The future Gu Qingcheng said, haven't you noticed that your heart has already stirred for Xiao Ye? You've already developed romantic feelings for him, you just haven't realized it yet. Gu Qingcheng was bewildered. Did she already like Xiao Ye? She didn't feel it. She just felt that Xiao Ye was a very interesting, capable, An outstanding person, someone no man in the world could compare to. Zhang Zunyu stepped forward, standing before Xiao Ye. Her delicate white hands gripped his robes tightly, her face tense, tears welling in her beautiful eyes, turning them red. She pleaded, "Master, please don't leave me, okay? I can sign a master servant's contract with you and your mistress. I will be your servant." She summoned her master-servant contract, which appeared like a painting, hovering before Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye glanced at her voluptuous figure and stunning face, swallowed hard, and immediately nodded. "All right, since you've made this request, I'll reluctantly agree. Everyone knows I, Xiao Ye, am always ready to help, and I can't bear to see women cry, especially beautiful women." He was about to unleash his divine sense to formally sign the master-servant's contract. Ziran pulled Xiao Ye away, angrily saying, "King Cheng, you should just sign the master-servant's contract with Zhang Zunyan. Xiao Ye, don't interfere. HMPH, we have enough top-quality beast girls. If we add another beautiful maid, who knows what shady things you might do with her behind our backs?" Xiao Ye's face darkened. In Ziran's mind, was he really that despicable? Future Gu Qingchang smiled and said, "All right, then I'll accept this beautiful maid." She released her divine sense and officially signed the master-servant's contract with Zhang Zunyan, who had transformed from a star beast. She was the master, and Zhang Zunyan was the servant. After the contract was signed, the power of rules flowed within it, transforming into two orbs of light that entered their bodies. In an instant, future Gu Qingchang felt that she could control Zhang Zunyan's life and death with a single thought, and could also sense the degree of Zhang Zunyan's malice towards her and others. Zhang Zunyan's intentions to harm others could be detected immediately by Xiao Ye, who then used the master-servant's contract to seal Zhang Zunyan's cultivation level and power. The master-servant's contract has three functions. First, the master controls the servant's life and death. Second, the master can sense the servant's level of malice towards the outside world. And third, the master can seal the servant's cultivation level and power at any time. After signing the contract, Zhang Zunyan lost her personal freedom and was completely controlled. However, Zhang Zunyan's pretty face was filled with joy, her heart overflowing with happiness. This time, her master and mistress would finally not abandon her. "Master, although I only signed a contract with a mistress, you can still ask me to do whatever you want, and I will do my best to serve you," Zhang Zunyan declared. "I'll do anything. And I won't complain." Xiao Ye grinned, raised his hand, and patted Zhang Zunyan's head, saying, "Okay, little girl." Zhang Zunyan, enjoying the pat on the head, rubbed her head against the rough hand, feeling incredibly happy. Ziran's pretty face darkened. Xiao Ye didn't sign a master-servant's contract with Zhang Zunyan, yet they still managed to get together. A sense of foreboding crept into her heart. She felt that Zhang Zunyan was like a lamb thrown into a tiger's den, about to be devoured. Gu Qingcheng, in her spiritual sea, was somewhat shocked. This was a quasi-emperor realm perfected starry sky beast. On Blue Star, the highest level was only quasi-emperor realm perfected. She already possessed a quasi-emperor realm perfected maid? Gu Qingchang felt that the discovery was quite surreal, and all of this was brought about by Xiao Ye. This man was the powerhouse of this starry sky, and he could also take in a quasi-emperor realm maid. Staring at that handsome face, Gu Qingchang stared blankly, mesmerized, completely stunned. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.